across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: police apologise for not attending Luton meeting. 3 arrested after latest car vandalism in High Wycombe. And voice of cricket Richie Benaud dies aged 84.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Bedfordshire Police has apologised for not turning up to a meeting which they organised about the problem of prostitution in the Hightown area of Luton. 2 years ago, the Force and Luton Borough Council announced a 5-year strategy to deal with the issue. But Matt Ryan, who's lived in the area for 60 years, says the sex trade is still going on.
When residents start complaining, they do something. They come out for a few nights, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks, depending on how hot it is, and then it just dies down and it comes back straight away. In other words, we are a hub for street prostitution.
3 people, including 2 teenagers, were arrested by police in High Wycombe yesterday afternoon in the latest spate of vandalism to cars in the town. Police were called to Arundel Road at around 2:40 to reports of a car on fire and several other vehicles being damaged. 3 males aged 22, 19 and 17 were arrested. A £1,000 reward has been offered following several weeks of vandalism thought to be linked to the inquest verdict on local man Habib Ullah. The Conservatives say regulated rail fares will rise by no more than inflation until 2020 if they win power at the general election. Labour is pledging to guarantee neighbourhood policing across the country and will scrap police and crime commissioners to help fund that. Police investigating the murder of a woman in Buckinghamshire 20 years ago today have identified DNA which could belong to her killer. It's believed that Janet Brown disturbed an intruder at her home in Radnage. Peter Burns is from the Thames Valley Major Crime Review team.
Looked at what we had in terms of exhibits that were seized on the original investigation. One of the items that we sent off has revealed a full male DNA profile, which isn't that of any member of the family. We're hoping that that DNA profile can be matched to somebody else, but it does provide a strong link between the offence and the scene.
Luton-based EasyJet are operating 5 so-called rescue flights today to help passengers stranded across Europe by the French air traffic controllers' strike. The company cancelled nearly 250 flights on Wednesday and over 330 yesterday and have put up over 6,000 passengers in hotel rooms. The Australian cricketer and commentator Richie Benaud, who's been called the voice of cricket, has died. He was 84 and had been suffering from skin cancer. His voice was known to millions, first on BBC and then Channel 4, working on British television from 1963 to 2005.
And by them looking for that, let alone chasing it, it's gone straight into the confectionery stall and out again. First ball in Test cricket in England for Shane Warne. And he's done it. Gadding has absolutely no idea what has happened to it. He still doesn't know.
Richie Benaud, who has died at the age of 84. In sport, world number 1 Rory McIlroy is 7 shots behind leader Jordan Spieth after the opening round of the Masters at Augusta, and Lewis Hamilton was fastest in first practice for Sunday's Chinese Grand Prix. The weather, another warm day, plenty of sunshine, although hazy at times, a maximum temperature 21 degrees Celsius, and you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Just let me hear some of that rock and roll music. Any old way you choose it. It's got a backbeat, you can't lose it. Any old time you use it. It's gotta be rock and roll music. If you wanna dance with me. If you wanna dance with me. I have no kicks against modern jazz, unless they try to play it too darn fast and change the beauty of the melody until it sounds just like a symphony. That's why I go for that rock and roll music. Any old way you choose it. It's got a backbeat, you can't lose it. Any old time you use it. It's gotta be rock and roll music. If you wanna dance with me. If you wanna dance with me. I took my loved one over across the tracks so she could hear my man a wailing sax. I must admit they have a rockin' band. Man, they was blowing like a hurricane. That's why I go for that rock and roll music. off, they gave a jubilee. I tell you folks, they had a jamboree and drinking beer from a wooden cup. The folks at dancing got all shook up. They started playing that rock and roll music any old way you choose it. It's got a backbeat, you can't lose it. Any old way you use it. It's gotta be rock and roll music. If you wanna dance with me, if you wanna dance with me, say if you wanna dance with me, if you wanna dance with me, if you wanna dance with me. It's got to be
Morning, just buying ourselves a little bit of time, but also getting some great vibes.
How are your vibes now?
Great. On the show this morning, streetwalkers, hedge jumpers and bottle dumpers. Well done, you're back on form. Back on top form.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
The papers normally come at about 5 o'clock. They've literally only just arrived. Isn't that right, Kelly Betts? I saw you rushing to get them.
Yeah,
And then you tossed the news in my face.
I did.
And it went everywhere. So we're kind of going through them now. I've already got some. Hang on a sec. I've got some classics for.
Sponsored by papers beginning with the.
Oh, hang on. Oh, that's Wally Webb still going. That's
He's
not
having
me, okay.
holiday.
So that's coming up later. I've got some classics.
I'm still scratching around here.
My favourite one is Young Chums.
Oh.
It's not a brilliant story, but it's a great headline. Young Chums.
Yum chums.
Young Chums.
Young.
Young.
Yum.
Young. Young Chums.
I don't get it.
No. Okay, should we do this?
Yeah, go
You
on.
ready?
Yeah, go on, start.
Have you chosen a record for the next song?
Yeah, do you want to do that now?
No.
Okay.
But I've got. I'm just gonna. You know.
This one, right?
Ah,
I'll
man.
Put the duck on.
What?
A2.
A2. A2 Brute. Now, back in 2013, Luton Council and Beds Police told us they would get rid of all street prostitution within 5 years. 2 years on, people living in the town's red light district aren't convinced. In fact, they're furious that neither the police or the council turned up to a meeting that they'd called to update residents. Catherine, it seems no one cares anymore.
No, it doesn't look great, does it? No one from the council turned up, no one from the police. Only 12 concerned residents turned up to what was supposed to be a meeting of a joint action group on Thursday last week. It was advertised as a chance for people to have their say on what's been going on in Hightown and find out what's going on in the future in Hightown, you know, in line with this 5-year plan.
Yeah.
But despite waiting for more than 2 hours, residents were left disappointed as no representative from Beds Police failed to appear. Shazad...
No representative from Beds Police failed to appear?
Sorry.
So hang on, there were loads of them there, were there?
Sorry.
Come on, we're the BBC. It's not wiping your nose.
Sorry.
Focus.
I'm watching you do that. Shazad Kadam, who leads the Hightown Against Prostitution campaign group, told us it was unbelievable. He said, as a community, we shouldn't have to be doing all the work ourselves, but it seems like we are. We go out into the streets at night regularly, and we've seen him do this. He's the one that filmed a conversation with one of the prostitutes.
Yes, he did, didn't he? Yeah.
And asked them to move on, but we don't have much success. They feel like they're invulnerable. It's not got better at all. In fact, we feel in many ways that things have got worse for us here. And he also told us that a police officer told him that she felt intimidated at the last meeting, which is the reason he believes she didn't turn up this time.
And Hightown residents, what are they saying?
Wendy Walker, you'll be speaking to later on, she says there's been no reduction in the number of girls on the street. She says the situation on Dudley Street and New Bedford Road is terrible and chaotic, and cars are nose to tail on Wenlock Street well into the early hours. So it's like a drive-through. Another resident, Rosetta Ryan, says she's been living in the area for 60 years, says any meeting they do have with the police is meaningless as they're just presented with slideshows. And she says it's in the interest of the authorities to contain the problem to Hightown.
Are people still having sex in rubbish chutes?
We will find out later.
The authorities always come back with the reply, lack of resources. The opinion of many residents is this is just an excuse because the authorities want Hightown to remain a hub for street prostitution. Think about it. If where will it go if it's not in Hightown? So where do the decision makers live? They live in places like Harpington, Dunstable, Hitchin, surrounding areas. They don't want a problem to blight the area they live in. So we come full circle. By the police doing a little bit of policing, they can make out they are on the side of the residents, but unfortunately they always fall short.
What are the police saying?
We've had a statement. Inspector Jason Cahill. He says, we would like to apologise to members of the public who attended this joint action group meeting. The meetings are a useful tool which give people the opportunity to talk about issues which affect them. We're disappointed that no one from the police was able to attend on this occasion. They're disappointed. He added, we're committed to working with our communities to address problems which matter to them, and we'll continue to run Operation Turtle. Yes, that's its name.
Oh, no, that's really his poor naming.
In the area to tackle a range of antisocial behaviour, including prostitution and drug use.
What's it called? Operation Turtlehead? Turtle. Really? Why would you do that? I mean, that's just thoroughly unpleasant, isn't it? Everything is coming from records today, and boy, oh boy, didn't that one sound like it. I've got literally nothing to say, because we're going through the papers.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, we're doing the prep, and I'll be honest, OK, guys, yeah, I do a little bit of prep. I'm doing the prep on air.
Well, do you want some reassurance?
OAP, on-air prep.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm an OAP. I'm an on-air preparator. Oh, that I don't know if that was the chair or not.
It was a bit of the chair, I think.
I'll let you know after the show. I'll check. Catherine.
You know when your mum used to say to you, don't pull that out, you'll get loads back in return?
No.
Like your eyebrows or straight hairs.
My mum has never said, don't pull that out, you'll get loads back in return. She said something similar, but I don't think it was about hairs.
Bald men will be pleased to know that scientists have found...
she said to the papers! Straight away!
Yeah.
You better just go, but she's just diving in!
Well, you know, I'm a pro.
Go on, then.
Bald men will be pleased to know that scientists have found a way of making hair regrow. You pull it out and a load come back in return.
What?
They may be less delighted, however, to hear it involves tearing out their remaining hair. US researchers have shown that when they pluck out 200 hairs, up to 6 times as many grow back.
So what you're saying is bald men should pull out what little hair they've got because it'll grow back?
Apparently.
That's insane. Everyone knows you're supposed to get a cow to lick your head.
Oh?
Didn't I have an argument with Justin about hair once?
Probably.
OK, thanks.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M25 anti-clockwise is closed between junction 10 for the Wisley interchange and 8 for Reigate, which is causing more mild queues on the approach. It's because a lorry's overturned. Elsewhere in Bushy on the A411 and Elstree Road, there's roadworks going on at Clay Lane, which could cause some delays. And in Buckingham on the A413 London Road, there's temporary traffic lights at the total roundabout, which also might cause some delays as it starts to get busier. It's quite misty looking at the CCTV cameras, so it could cause problems with the visibility this morning. There's no reports of any problems at the moment on the trains. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Samantha. Tension's running high in the studios here. Just do as you're told.
Well, we'll not.
Well, you are. You're actually doing it, so that's fine.
Stop doing it.
Well, yeah, but you'll carry on doing it. You will. These are your headlines. Bedfordshire Police has apologised for not turning up to a meeting which they organised about the problem of prostitution in the Hightown area of Luton. 3 people, including 2 teenagers, were arrested by police in High Wycombe yesterday afternoon in the latest spate of vandalism to cars in the town. And tributes are being paid to cricket commentator Richie Benno, who has died at the age of 84.
BBC Three Counties Radio. Roberto Perroni on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Tip-top etiquette expert William Hanson, who is not a fan of politicians oversharing.
Oh, good afternoon, Roberto. I feel slightly nauseous after that music.
Every weekday from 3.
Let's talk to Harriet Harman, the leader of the Labour Party.
We've been in Bedford and Cambridge, and we've had very interesting discussions.
Let's talk cold callers. Do you have a tried and tested method of getting rid of cold callers?
You've got to make up a word before you go on the phone, and so you can fit that word in without them realising the most time.
Saying actually helps you feel calmer. Did you believe this, Sharon?
Definitely. And since I read that, I've been doing it and I'm well chilled.
Roberto Perroni, weekdays from 3 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
The reason why, I can say I have to let you go, baby. And right away, after what you did, I can't stay on. And I probably feel a whole lot better when you're gone. Baby, for a long time, you had me believe that your love was all mine. Got to say that it's not like before, and I'm not gonna play your games anymore. After what you did, I can't stay on, and I probably feel a whole lot better when you're gone. When you're gone.
There's more to that sentence. Thank you, Birds. And thank you, The Birds, the group. Congratulating my team and showing appreciation, and also showing appreciation to one of the most overrated rock groups of all time. So thank you, Birds.
You're welcome.
And thank you, The Birds.
Wow.
Just?
One of the most overrated bands of all time, The Birds.
Yes, mate. Yeah. Bit rubbish, bit pony.
Come on.
Handful of good songs, the rest...
Legendary.
They didn't even spell it right.
Yeah, well, you're wrong.
Oh, I'm right.
No, you're wrong.
I'm right.
You're wrong.
I'm right.
Nope.
No, I'm right, Justin. So we'll end it there.
Okay.
Discussione itzy overa.
Seem to be pushing it a bit too much.
Latin for this stops here.
It's impressive.
Thank you very much, indeed. I've got a Barry Manilow record, and I didn't bring it today, and I'm really annoyed. We're only playing records today, as you know.
Oh,
Barry Manilow.
Barry
That's funny,
and
we're on the
Gary.
same page.
We're on this. I'm so proud of Barry Manilow. I'm proud of him.
I wonder what took him so long.
I know. Come on, Barry. Guess what? We all knew, or did we? He's married his male manager. Great.
Fair enough.
I don't think you call them fairies anymore, mate.
Fair enough.
I do apologise. And I'm genuinely. I saw this. It was a tiny little thing yesterday, and it was literally a paragraph in one of the papers. I think maybe the Sun. And I thought, if that had been even 10 years ago. That would have been massive. Front page news. Barry Manilow. 15 years ago, Barry Manilow, gay shocker. Tiny little thing. I thought, isn't that good? And then there's a thing in the paper that is in the mail today. Over the years, there have been whispers that Barry Manilow wasn't quite the ladies' man his legions of female fans believed he was. You don't say?
What gave that away? The crushed velvet jackets or the hair?
Did he just say what gave that away?
She did, I think.
Yeah.
This.
Good.
I think he was clearly gay all the way along, wasn't he?
Anyway, it seems. He had a lunch.
I didn't say. I said gave, not gay.
Okay. He threw a lunch for his mates, right? And then all his mates said, "Oh, by the way, actually, I'm marrying this guy.
Gary.
I'm marrying Gary. This guy here."
Do you think he's called Gary Manilow now?
Well, he better be. Anyway, the reception on social media yesterday was predictable, while others joked that Mandy Manilow's famous ode to a lover should have been called Andy.
Oh.
One Twitter user sympathised, writing, "Take a minute's silence for Barry Manilow's female fans." A fan wrote, "Barry Manilow, gutted." While another Twitter user said, "My mum can't stop crying." One fan, commenting on Manilow's official website, remained in a state of denial, writing, "Barry would not marry a man, and that is definite. He loves ladies."
I think he does love ladies because they buy his records.
Yeah.
But I don't think he loves ladies.
He was married to a woman years and years ago, and
he tried it.
He didn't like it. I genuinely, this made me really happy, this story yesterday. I thought, what a nice thing.
But
well done.
Do you know what else made me happy? That it happened last year and we were only just finding out about it.
I wish more elderly pop stars, maybe some of the British ones, were brave enough to come out and say, "Do you know what? I'm gay. What's the big deal?"
Saying that, I'm still getting over Ricky Martin.
What?
I was a bit upset about that.
About what?
I thought he was the hottest thing on two legs.
Gay men can still be hot, Catherine.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right,
but I did think, we only had to meet and
Getting
then
very close to the knuckle today.
Then, careful. And then he would realise, I was one for him. It's kind of the reason I learnt Spanish, all that sort of stuff. And then he goes and reveals his gaiety.
Oh, it's a waste! Do people still say that? Oh, it's such a waste.
I think people over 40 say it.
It's such a waste. I've had gay men say that to me. "Oh, you're such a waste." As a straight man. Ooh, why is that funny?
I think they meant, "Oh, you're wasted."
I was at the time.
Yeah, I thought you
No, they. What do you mean? Is that you being nice or kind or rude?
Kind.
Okay, I love that.
Kind of rude.
I used to get when I was younger, and I wasn't that attractive when I was younger. I used to get a lot of gay guys chatting me up. Nowadays, I don't get so much. But yeah, I get gay guys saying, "Oh," they wouldn't say you're wasted.
Do you find it more flattering to be hit on by a gay guy
do you know
than
what?
a woman?
That is actually a really good question. If this were 1987, let me think. Do I find it more flattering? No, I find it intriguing. I find it enjoyable. I've never gone, "Oh no, get away." Well, actually, that's quite camp to say it like that. "Oh no, get away." That's a come on, isn't it? In many ways. I've always. How can I phrase this without sounding like a tart? I've always enjoyed the attention.
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed. You must have got hit on by gay guys, Just. You're a good-looking fella.
Yeah, to be fair.
There's quite a lot, he says.
It's great. I take it as a compliment.
And it is a compliment. I love it.
It's always nice to be appreciated, isn't it?
I think it's a bigger compliment, to be fair. without being stereotypical, I think, yes, I think gay men.
Compliment.
Yeah, because I think gay men, on the whole, look after themselves a bit better. And if they're
women.
Than straight men.
Yeah, I'm going along with that. And if they appreciate your style and your image, that for me is a great comp.
So, would you be more flattered if you were hit on by a gay guy than you would be by a straight woman?
Yes.
I think this is your thing to take to the streets this morning if you're up for it.
Yeah, well up for it.
I think that's a really nice one. I think that's a great one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can make some magic out of that, can't you?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Kelly.
Could it be magic?
Welcome.
Sorry?
Sorry.
What did you say?
Could it be magic?
Why did you say that?
Barry Manilow song.
Yeah, I know, but why? Don't know why you said
Just
that.
a bit of a pun.
A pun on what?
Well, the street opinion box coming up later on.
Where's the pun?
Well, you're saying, take it to the streets. I'm saying, it could be magic, Could it be magic? Yeah?
I don't understand why that's a pun.
Okay.
Just explain a pun. Look, I've got the definition. I've got the definition of pun in front of me. Let's have a look. A joke exploiting the different possible meanings of a word, or the fact that there are words that sound alike but have different meanings. No, that definitely wasn't a pun. What you said.
It just came from my brain.
All right, Dad Pop. Right, shall we do this?
Yes.
Grand National tomorrow. Bother, Kath?
Not really. No.
Bother, Kels?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I am.
Is Ben Nyde, is Shaggy doing a sweepstake?
Of course he is.
So.
He's a right little half a daily, isn't he? It seems enough of you are bothered to keep the bookies happy. They're expecting bets amounting to about 200 million quid at a time when the country is supposed to be skint. Justin, big deal this race, even now, isn't it?
Absolutely massive. More than 150. What? It is massive, come on. Fact, not fiction there.
That's true,
more than 150,000 people are expected to travel to Aintree this weekend. And, of course, even more expected to place a bet. People like me, I never, ever place a bet on anything apart from the Grand National. So this year, around £200 million is expected to be spent on betting. According to a survey by the bookmakers William Hill, just 15% of people actually bother to look at the betting guide. So those people haven't got a clue what's going on.
They just pick someone's name because it's Nana's knickers. Oh, your Nana used to wear knickers.
Yeah. That's how it works.
Used to wear knickers. We'll bet on that. Here we go. 08459 455 555. Why have horses got such blooming stupid names? And they changed the law a few years ago, so you couldn't call them things like Colin Sandwich and stuff like that. They had to have.
Did they?
Yeah, they did. They did. It was about 10 years ago. They changed the law, but they've still got really stupid names.
Didn't someone call one recently a horse?
Eh?
They called it that. They called it a horse.
Zainab Badawi's Smackdown. When it comes to gambling, though, Justin, there is a dangerous aspect to it, isn't there?
Yes, this is true. There is a concern that people...
You're really making me laugh today.
There's concern from people that betting, people like me who don't normally bet, well, they could actually get hooked. Matt Zarcousin, he's a former gambling addict. He established the Fairer Gambling campaign. He says, look, I've got no issue with the race itself, but what happens is a lot of people go into betting shops and they place bets, and whilst they're in those shops, and we spoke about this recently, in those shops they've got those betting terminals. People can lose a lot of money, so what he's saying is if you're going into a shop whilst you're there, you could get hooked. There could be some, I know, but there could be some form of trigger which could lead on to gambling.
Most people, surely, they do. There is someone like Shaggy who's trying to con a few quid out of people, who does a sweepstake. He cuts up bits of paper, puts them in his filthy sock, and you have to put your hand in and swipe them out, and it comes out all sticky. Most people do that, don't they?
Most people. But the other week, I was in Hemel talking about these betting terminals. Somebody said to me that the worst mistake of his life was walking into a betting shop when he was 18. He placed a small bet and he got hooked. So it can happen.
Yeah, no, you're right. It was good, that chat. It's cruel, isn't it?
Well, some would say so. Since 2000, 24 horses have died on the Grand National, which is way too many. Over the 3
How many would be acceptable in your opinion?
Well, none.
Okay.
But over the 3-day course meeting, over the same period, 40 horses have been killed. So, yeah.
Well, that's definitely too many.
The charity Animal Aid, they're calling for the event to be banned. I think in reality, I think everyone knows that's never going to happen. But there are many people out there who think it's cruel, won't be placing bets, won't be watching it. Later, boss, you're going to be talking to a bit of a character. The TV horse pundit John McQuirrick will be live on your programme.
Who?
John McQuirrick.
Who?
John McQuirrick.
Who?
John McQuirrick.
Kelly, clip that and say his name again, but try and say it properly this time.
John McQuirrick.
Who?
John McCrick.
John McQuirrick.
John McQuirrick?
Yeah.
John McQuirrick. John McQuirrick is coming on the show.
That's how I pronounce his name, yeah.
Why?
Because that's how my mouth works.
Just say it again.
John McQuirrick.
Catherine, thank you.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M25, it's closed anti-clockwise between junction 10 for the Wisley interchange and 8 for Reigate, which is causing 2-mile queues approaching it because of a lorry that's overturned there. Elsewhere in Bletchley on Watling Street, there's been an accident between the A421 Standing Way and Saxon Street near the Denby Industrial Estate, so that's causing some delays. And in Neasden on the A406 North Circular Road, that's looking very busy between the Neasden interchange and Wembley. Having a look at the train departure boards, there's no reports of any problems at the moment. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6:30. I'm Simon Oxley. Bedfordshire Police has apologised for not turning up to a meeting which they organised about the problem of prostitution in the Hightown area of Luton. Only 12 residents attended, though. 3 people, including 2 teenagers, were arrested by police in High Wycombe yesterday afternoon in the latest spate of vandalism to cars in the town. And the Australian cricketer and commentator Richie Benaud, who's been called the voice of cricket, has died at the age of 84.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
World number 1 Rory McIlroy's 7 shots behind leader Jordan Spieth after the opening round of the Masters at Augusta.
I was pretty nervous, excited, but I just, I've been wanting to get going for a while now, even since the end of last week. So it was nice to just get out there and get a scorecard in the hand and start this tournament, and I'm pretty pleased with how I started.
McIlroy hit a 1 under par 71, but American Spieth opened a 3-shot lead with an 8 under 64. Justin Rose is among those in joint second on 5 under. Tiger Woods is 1 over after a 73, as is Woburn's Ian Poulter. Watford striker Troy Deeney is the Championship Player of the Month for March. Third place Watford travel to Millwall tomorrow. The Hornets are currently 1 point behind leaders Bournemouth, who are at Brighton tonight. Ahead of the League One trip to Port Vale, MK Dons manager Carl Robinson says they're hoping to sign on loan 19-goal striker Will Grigg on a permanent basis.
Brentford paid a lot of money for him. That's a big investment that they paid, and I'm not too sure whether we can compete with the investment that Brentford made. And again, that's just the reality of where we are. We'll try and do the best of what we possibly can to try and make Will Grigg play for MK Dons next season, but we are also realists as well. If the price is right, we'll do the deal.
Wycombe boss Gareth Ainsworth is the League Two Manager of the Month for March. Third place Wanderers host bottom club Cheltenham tomorrow. In the race for playoff places, Stevenage are at home to Northampton. Luton are at home to leaders Burton. Here's Hatters midfielder Cameron McGeehan.
I think playoffs would have been a great achievement at the beginning of the year. So obviously got ahead of ourselves maybe a little bit, being in the top 3 at the time. Maybe that sort of raised the expectations for everyone, and then you sort of go on a bad one and everyone thinks, oh, it's the end of the world, but it's not. It's playoffs and we're there and we've got the chance to go and play at Wembley and get promoted into League One. It's still right in our grasp.
And Lewis Hamilton was fastest in first practice for Sunday's Chinese Grand Prix. The Hertfordshire driver finished ahead of teammate Nico Rosberg and Ferrari's Sebastian Vettel. The Milton Keynes Red Bull cars were 6th and 7th. Second practice starts at 7 our time. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 7.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Those memories
but you're not there. And I'm so lonesome without your love. I go insane. Those memories of you still haunt me every night when I lay down. I'll always love you, little darling, until the day they lay me down. I close my eyes and you're there with me. Your kiss I feel, your face I see. It's not your lips now that drive me crazy. It's just your haunting memory. Those memories of you still haunt me every night when I lay down. I'll always love you, my little darling, until the day they lay me down. Until the day they lay me down.
That's nice. Who's that? Obviously, Dolly's in there.
Dolly, Linda Ronstadt, Emmylou Harris, all together on this album called Trio that I found in the basement.
Is
John McCrick
there?
No.
John McCrick.
No.
How about
John McCrick.
no?
No.
John McCrick.
No.
John McCrick. John McCrick. John McCrick. John McCrick.
Is John McQuirk in it?
Yeah, if you want.
John McQuirk. Oh, hang on, he's back. All right, Justin, I didn't see you there, mate.
All right, boss. Yeah, tomorrow.
I thought you'd gone.
But between 12 and 2, we're having 2 hours of you saying
John
February on a
McCrick.
loop.
Sorry?
Yeah, February on a loop.
February? I've never said February on a loop. Apart from
say
then.
February, go on.
February.
Yeah, we're doing that tomorrow. 2 hours of that on a loop. John McCrick.
John McCrick.
John McCrick.
John McQuirrick.
John McCrick.
Yeah. Okay, mate. I look forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, fine.
Should be good.
Yeah, should be good. Hey, listen, let's stop fighting and let's start loving. Not literally, but metaphorically. As we... By the way, you've got a third cart wall now, Justin, in my collection. That is unprecedented. Let's play this! I'm saying it as though I'm really buying into the mythology of this. Kels, you ready?
Yes, boss.
All right, boss. Let's start. It's not a brilliant story, but it is a great headline. Young chums. Young chums. Now that's a pun. Catherine, let's start with you.
Is it to do with puppy food?
No. Deals?
Is it to do with kids who hang out on the street?
What?
The street massive. Young chums.
Young chums are having some fun, crazily getting down the road. Wise guys realise there's danger in emotional ties. No.
Oh,
Kelly.
that's what the pun was on.
Oh, I thought it was on. I thought that young was the word that needs to be. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, young chums. No, I think it. No. I think we're right.
Oh, really?
When you hear what it is, yes.
Neil Young
No.
on a night out in Liverpool with chicks, young chicks.
What's that got to do with you?
I don't know.
We make the most best friends, typically 5, by the age of 26. I've got 3 best friends, and ain't none of you lot.
Oh. I got loads.
Of best friends?
Yes.
No.
Yes, I have.
No, you don't.
No, you think you have. You think
you
have.
haven't.
No, I have.
I don't think the fan has even started turning for you yet. Never mind, anything's been flung at it. You will find out who your friends are.
I have. And I've got many.
Supposing I broke your heart again.
Yeah.
How many of those best friends could you actually go and tell?
At least 6. What? At least 6.
You tell 6 people about us.
I already have.
Oh, you make me want to.
I don't really. I don't talk about my personal life anyway to anyone.
So you haven't got any best friends?
Yes, I have. But if I did, I could have 6.
I'm feeling. There's just so many voxes popping out today, Justin. How many best friends have you got? That's a great one, isn't it?
Well,
I've got
think,
3.
and I've always said this: your best friends, your true friends, are the ones that you went to school with. Because when you go down the,
That's just a coincidence, Justin. You just all happen to be there at the same time.
Because when you go down the pub and you talk about things which happened years ago, you've got a strong connection. They are your best friends.
No.
And anybody would not be my best friend if I didn't meet them at school.
Okay. Is one of your best friends
John McCorrick? No.
No. Okay. Maybe that's another Vox you might want to just
keep on the back burner.
Blazing paddles. Blazing paddles. We're actually doing a feature now, and it's stopped being ironic. It's actually been a way to fill time. Kelly Betts, Blazing Paddles.
Is it about a little boat that's on fire?
You would think so, wouldn't
Yeah,
you?
you
I'm going to
would.
give you a clue, Justin. Blaze.
I've got this one, by the way.
Oh, well, then I won't give you the clue.
Okay. For me, I think this is all to do with the massive group that were called Blazing Squad.
Okay.
And
okay.
I think
the clue would have helped. Yeah.
I think they went to a water park in America and they caused absolute mayhem, and they're now consequently banned.
I'll give you the clue, Catherine. Blazing is spelt Blaizing. Blazing paddles. Blazing paddles.
Is it to do with Immodesty Blaze? That
What?
Well, she's a what do you call it? Burlesque. star.
A fat stripper.
Yeah.
Come on, that's what burlesque is.
Well, you know what they do with paddles.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I think it is to do. Oh my gosh. Dunno.
Britain's most popular goldfish names are now Blaze, Finn and Styx, replacing old favourites like Goldie.
And Bob.
And Bob.
My goldfish was called Cleopatra.
Cleopatra.
Coming at you.
Coming at ya. Let's do one more, and then, Catherine, you can... I'll let you do, whatever it is. I've got to be careful how I say this.
You've got to do whatever it is I do, is what you're going to say, is that right?
Rat... It looks different as I read it, and it's not rude, but it looks rude. It's like I've got rude dyslexia.
Go on.
Rat on a hot sin roof. Rat on a hot sin roof. Dealey, over to you.
I think this is about a naughty geezer who has been caught with another lady, and the only way out was out of the window and onto the roof.
Yeah.
It's good. It's not quite there. Catherine, can you finesse Dealey's rough edges?
Right, okay. No, I was going to say that, and with the addition of in his pants.
Can you clip Catherine saying in his pants, please?
Yes.
And what would you like to say, Kelly?
Is it actually about an actual rat?
Oh.
He's cheated on Minnie Mouse, and
that's cross species, and that's wrong.
Hey, listen, I don't see species.
Well, rats and mice do.
Listen, if rats and mice want to get it on...
Have you seen the size of a rat? That's
all
not
right,
fair.
All right, 1960s Cockney dad. But guess who's coming to dinner? A rat called Sidney Poitier. Yeah, it's the same thing.
He's the rat in this scenario,
the same
is
thing
he?
all over again, mate. The same thing.
Basic.
No. A roofing boss was exposed as a love rat on his company website after his fuming ex hijacked it.
Oh.
Lisa Morgan, 40, who set the site up for the Romeo, doctored its pages after giving him the boot. Visitors to Top of the World Roofing are told owner Sean Mead, 45, had been dumped. A message adds the proprietor was unfortunately found out to be cheating again. And there's a picture of Sean, and he's got his jumper tied around his waist, which I think is always an
Good look.
excellent look.
Yeah.
Justin, you've got plenty there. How many friends have you got? Would you find it more flattering to be chatted up by a man or a woman?
Yep.
Go and make magic happen, mate.
Listen, leave it to me, boss. I'll talk to you about later on.
We'll speak to you later on, mate.
Take care.
All right, mate.
Bye. See ya.
Anything else you want to say, Just?
John McQuarrie.
Thank you.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M25 anti-clockwise, it's still closed between junction 10 for the Wisley interchange and 8 for Reigate because a lorry's overturned and there are 3 mile queues on the approach. Now, in Bletchley on Watling Street, that's been closed because of an accident between Standing Way and Saxon Street. It's also causing it to get quite busy around the Kingston roundabout through the roadworks as a result. In Biggleswade on Normandy Lane, that's closed for the roadworks going on at the junction of London Road, so that could cause some delays if you're heading that way later on. There's no reports of any major delays at the moment on the trains. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you so much, Sammy. Thank you so much indeed.
In his pants.
Oh, Catherine, will you leave it out, please? Put it
in his pants.
Thank you. It's Friday, the 10th of April. I think that actually counts as sexy harassment. I think it does.
What, me to you?
No, me doing this.
In his pants.
Bedfordshire Police has apologised for not... Here we go, this is appropriate. Bedfordshire Police has apologised for not turning up to a meeting which they organised about the problem of prostitution. The meeting was being held...
in his pants.
3 people... 3 people, including 2 teenagers, were arrested by police in High Wycombe yesterday afternoon in the latest spate of vandalism to cars in the town. One gentleman was caught...
in his pants. He wasn't.
You don't have to add that!
Beds, hearts and bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello, very good morning to you. Well, we could be looking at the warmest day of the year so far, actually, today, with possibly temperatures peaking at 21 or even 22 degrees Celsius into the 70s in Fahrenheit. But the sunshine's going to be rather hazy. There will be a lot of high cloud around, but it's a fairly bright start to the day, some much warmer air. We've got southerly wind, actually, and that's pushing up some rather polluted air from the near continent. So the air quality levels for today aren't going to be great. In fact, they're going to be really rather bad. So something to watch out for today. The breeze will be picking up through the course of the day, feeling very warm, as I said, with some very high temperatures this afternoon, but it is all change overnight. So a mild night to come. We'll see overnight lows of probably only around 8 or 9 degrees, and then we'll get a few spits and spots of rain into Saturday morning. This is a cold front coming through, and it's going to bring behind it some much cooler, fresher air for Saturday and for the rest of the weekend, actually. But that's not to say we'll see no sunshine, because there will be some. Just quite a cloudy start on Saturday with a few spots of rain, and then the sun will be out again in the afternoon. It will feel really quite lovely, I think, but we'll have lost a good few degrees in terms of temperatures, highs of 14 or 15 degrees Celsius. Sunday morning, again, nice sunny start, but things clouding over into the afternoon, a few dribs and drabs of rain perhaps, but generally looking fine and dry into next week as pressure builds again. We could be looking at temperatures into the 20s once more by Wednesday. That's the forecast.
In his pants.
Hi, I'm Chris Martin from Coldplay. My favourite BBC programmes growing up...
Nah, not on this show, mate. Nah, not on this show. Not on this show, mate. I'm not having that, Kelly, and I know you'll object. You'll think, oh, Chris Martin, give me a big kiss. I like Chris Martin when he's
in his pants.
But no, I'm not having him on my show, mate. I'm sorry, and I don't care if that upsets you.
No,
I'm standing firm. I'm standing tall.
Really don't
Actually, I'm standing erect. Look how tall I am when I stand like this.
Yeah, can you sit down?
Okay, thank you very much indeed. Should we have
someone?
Sorry? Let's have a song. Oh, this is nice.
I know you don't know what I'm going through. Standing here looking at you. Well, let me tell you that it hurts so bad. It and pins. People say you've been making out okay. She's in love, don't stand in her way. But let me tell you that it hurts so bad. It makes me feel so sad. It's gonna hurt so bad if you walk away. Why don't you stay and let me make it up to you? I'll do anything you want me to. You loved me before, please love me again. I can't let you go back to him. Please don't go, please don't go. Hurts so bad. Come back, it hurts so bad. Don't make it hurt so bad. I'm begging you, please don't go, please don't go.
Now, this is another record I stole from downstairs. Little Anthony and the Imperials, Hurt So Bad, written by Bobby Hart, who wrote the Monkees theme. He may be coming on the show at some point. He's got a book coming out. I may get him on. And they're brilliant. He sings like a girl. Here we go. 08459 455 555. Male singers that sing like girls. Freddie Mercury. He sang like a girl at times.
Yeah, I've got one.
Brian Wilson sang like a girl.
The fella that sang Old Carol.
Sedaka.
Sedaka
Neil
sounds
Sedaka.
just like a woman.
Neil Solita.
Sometimes Boy George. Before he got
No,
really
well, he
smoky.
looked like a woman.
No, it's before he got really smoky, he sounded like a woman.
He looked like a woman. I remember his first appearance on Top of the Pops, and the whole nation was tricked, weren't they? And they thought that he was a hot girl. But my dad was working at the BBC that night that Top of the Pops was on, and he said that all the cameramen, you know, were like, "Whoa, look at that." And they found out it was a gay.
A gay.
They found out it was, they used stronger language back then.
I'm
When
sure
was
they
that?
did.
1982, I'm guessing. And they were all. But yeah, okay. So I like this one. 81333. Start your text 3CR. Male singers that sing like women.
Gene Pitney.
No.
Yeah, a bit.
No, mate.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? No.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You are having a right old Royal Rumble in the jungle. Kels?
I was just on the phone to Australia.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, have we?
Yeah.
Is he?
What? What are you saying?
Is FJD coming on?
No.
Don't tease me like that. I was hoping.
In his pants.
Yeah, he'd be doing that.
Hey.
That was the end of my story.
Oh, great story, mate. Thank you. So I apologise.
I've got the start of a different story.
Go on, what song do you want from this?
I don't know, but you pick one.
Oh, it would probably be the theme tune, because I love it, but go on.
Driver watching Lord of the Rings DVD. Guess what this one's about?
Oh, this is... I saw this. This is a great story.
Right, there's having a sneaky look at your phone, and there's watching a very long film and part of a trilogy. You kind of wonder whether he would have watched the next one. A van driver was stopped by police yesterday while apparently watching a Lord of the Rings DVD at the wheel on Britain's busiest motorway.
You plum.
The man in his 30s is thought to have been viewing the film on a portable player mounted on the dashboard. So, I mean, I would suggest if he's gone to the trouble of mounting it on the dashboard, he's got previous for this.
Never mount on the dashboard.
Of his blue Ford Transit when officers pulled him over on the M25 near Cobham. Surrey Roads Police wrote on Twitter, "We just stopped a Lord of the Rings fan. Watching it on DVD whilst driving is not good." A police spokesman added that he was alone in the van and officers had seen the DVD player on his dashboard. Traffic was flowing at about 60 miles per hour at the time. The incident led to a spate of Lord of the Rings themed messages on social media, including this little beauty from Nick Freckleton.
Come on, Freckles.
A dreadful hobbit to have, bad for your elf.
Hey, at Freckles69 if you want to follow that guy.
And Dave Como added,
Who?
"Where did you stop them? Don't say Mordor."
I told you I was being driven from Manchester to Birmingham once in a minibus, and the driver was watching Shania Twain live in concert.
Gosh.
On the DVD player.
I mean, the fact that he was watching Shania Twain live in concert is one thing.
Yeah, he was obsessed with Shania Twain. I've never met anybody... I mean, I like Shania Twain. I think Still the One is one of the most beautiful songs of all time. What a great song. And the other ones, they're silly, but I kind of like that. You know, don't impress me.
A bit of fun, aren't they?
Yeah, a little bit of fun. And I think she's beautiful. But I've never met... He's the only person I've ever met obsessed with Shania Twain. It's like being obsessed with Anastasia, isn't it? or obsessed with mayonnaise. It's like, it's nice, but to be obsessed with it?
Obsessed with Samantha Mumba.
Obsessed with, I can't think of the woman's name. The woman who loads of people keep telling me she does car boot sales now.
My mum?
No, don't. Just give me a second. It don't matter.
Kim Wilde?
No. Sozzled Josh Darnborough passed out at a party and woke up with a tattoo on his back saying, "If found face down, call an ambulance." Pal? Oh, yeah, right, of course he was. Rob, you like that one, don't you, Kels?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that you would do.
It's a funny gag, isn't it? Permanent funny gag.
It's not, putting a bit of lippy on, or,
human buckaroo.
Yeah, human buckaroo. That's fun. A tattoo, that is physical
How
abuse.
didn't he wake up?
He was sozzled.
Yeah, but still.
While they were maiming
it's
him.
It's a feature that I constantly run. Words that are only used in newspapers or in the media. Sozzled. Oh, I was so sozzled last night.
Romp.
I was so sozzled that a pal romped with me.
I'm clipping that.
In his pants.
Pal Rob Gaskell inked the words in revenge after Josh made a bad job of a tattoo on his leg 2 years ago. But the support workers, both 24, say they're still mates and have now had their unwanted tats lasered off.
Support workers? What kind of support?
Rob of Mossley, Greater Manchester, your guys, used the DIY tattoo kit. DIY tattoo kit. He said, the opportunity presented itself and I could not resist. I didn't feel guilty as I'd had a few drinks, but I was quite remorseful later. Now then. Forgiving Josh said, aye, it was a practical joke. Sorry, I was supposed to...
Right, you better play a record quick.
I tell you what I would like to have. I tell you what I'd like to watch. I'd like to watch John McCririck
romp.
Yeah.
In his pants.
Ooh!
Good times for a change. See, the luck I've had can make a good man turn bad. So please, please, please.
In his pants.
Let me get what I want this time. Haven't had a dream in a long time. See, the life I've had can make a good man bad. So for once in my life, let me get what I want. Lord knows it would be the first time. Lord knows it would be the first time.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 southbound, we've just had reports that there's a lorry on fire at junction 14 for Milton Keynes, which is blocking a lane. On the M25 anti-clockwise, it's closed between junction 10 for the Wisley interchange and 8 for Reigate, which is causing delays now from junction 11 for Chertsey. And in Bricketwood on the North Orbit Road, that's starting to look very heavy at the M25 junction 21A roundabout. In Bletchley, Watling Street is closed because of an accident between Standing Way and Saxon Street. And on the trains, Abellio Greater Anglia are reporting 15-minute delays through Box Broxbourne. That's because of a problem with the train, and the Central Line has severe delays between West Ruislip and North Acton. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. So, let's try and remember what we've got. If you're a bloke, is it more flattering to be chatted up by a gay man than a girl? How many best friends have you got? Oh, yeah. And male singers, what do sing like girls? We'll talk after this. Here's the news.
Local and vocal across Beds, Herts and Bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: police apologise for not attending Luton meeting. 3 arrested in latest Wickham vandalism. And voice of cricket Richie Benno dies aged 84.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Bedfordshire Police has apologised for not turning up to a meeting which they organised about the problem of prostitution in the Hightown area of Luton. Only 12 residents attended. 2 years ago, the Force and Luton Borough Council has announced a 5-year strategy to deal with the issue. Matt Ryan, who's lived in the area for 60 years, says the sex trade is still going on.
When residents start complaining, they do something. They come out for a few nights, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks, depending on how hot it is, and then it just dies down and it comes back straight away. In other words, we are a hub for street prostitution.
3 people, including 2 teenagers, were arrested by police in High Wycombe yesterday afternoon in the latest spate of vandalism to cars in the town. Police were called to Arundel Road at around 2:40 to reports of a car on fire and several other vehicles being damaged. 3 males aged 22, 19 and 17 were arrested. A £1,000 reward has been offered following several weeks of vandalism thought to be linked to the inquest verdict on local man Habib Ullah. The Conservatives say regulated rail fares will rise by no more than inflation until 2020 if they win power at the general election. Labour is pledging to guarantee neighbourhood policing across the country and will scrap police and crime commissioners to help fund that. Police investigating the murder of a woman in Buckinghamshire 20 years ago today have identified DNA which could belong to her killer. It's believed that Janet Brown disturbed an intruder at her home in Radnage. Her daughter Roxanne has made a new appeal for information.
Our mum's murder was planned and brutal, and the horror of her death stays with us every day. She was attacked and killed in our family home, a place where we should all be safe. There is new DNA evidence which will help Thames Valley Police bring the killer to justice, but we need your help to find them. She was a kind and loving person, and her death broke our hearts.
Luton-based EasyJet are operating 5 so-called rescue flights today to help passengers stranded across Europe by the French air traffic controllers' strike. The company cancelled nearly 250 flights on Wednesday and over 330 yesterday, and have put up over 6,000 passengers in hotel rooms. The Australian cricketer and commentator Richie Benno, who's been called the voice of cricket, has died. He was 84 and had been suffering from skin cancer. His voice was known to millions, first on BBC and then Channel 4, working on British television from 1963 to 2005.
They're looking for that, let alone chasing it. It's gone straight into the confectionery stall and out again. First ball in Test cricket in England for Shane Warne. And he's done it. Gary has absolutely no idea what has happened to it. He still doesn't know.
Richie Benno, who has died at the age of 84. In sport, world number 1 Rory McIlroy is 7 shots behind the leader, Jordan Spieth, after the opening round of the Masters at Augusta. And the Watford striker Troy Deeney is the Championship Player of the Month for March. Wycombe boss Gareth Ainsworth is the League 2 Manager of the Month. The weather, another warm day with plenty of sunshine, although hazy at times. A maximum temperature 21 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Thank you, Simon. Morning, Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Busy show for a Friday. Man, my eyes are stinging. Stinging eyes. Stinging eyes. So what have we got? We got some newsy stuff coming up, but let's be honest, you're not interested in that. I listened to another BBC local radio breakfast show yesterday, bits of it. It was all right. It was all right. I've got to say, I'm not going to big myself up. That's up to you, but you know, you go and have a little listen and see whether, you know. I heard their roving reporter. Bless you. Let's just say we're very lucky to have Justin. We're very lucky. Bless you. We're very lucky to have Justin Dealey on this show.
We are.
Very, very. I mean, no one else would take him, so we're not literally lucky to have him. If you sneeze one more time...
Oh, stop it.
We're not literally lucky to have him. It's a contractual obligation. I think he comes with the station, doesn't he? He was here when the station was built. But this guy on this other place... Oh, it was... Right, that's it.
Oh, no, don't come in. He's actually going to come in. Why? Don't put the chair by the door. I can't have sneezing.
Will you stop sneezing? I'm trying to do the intro. Stop sneezing. Stop sneezing. Ow.
Nice move with the chair.
Thanks. He's so unprofessional. Why can't he just do the intro?
Sorry, guys. Just had to go off mic for a second there. Sorry. That's why you heard extended piece of music. There's a little emergency I had to deal with.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Okay.
So, guys that sing like girls.
Sorry?
Prince.
What? Oh, yeah, good one. Guys that sing like girls. Prince is a good one.
Claire suggests Prince and also Charles and Eddie. I'm not sure which. They probably both.
What song did they do?
Me and the
Oh, yeah. Okay, I don't know. That's not helped in the slightest.
Snuffers says men who sing like women. Tom Jones. I think I may know different women to you.
Snuffers.
Michael Jackson when he was younger.
Yeah.
Right, girl.
Michael Jackson was a right little girl. When he was younger, he was a child.
Yeah, but
when he was older, he sounded very soft.
So, lots of policies are being announced, okay? And one of the policies that's been announced is to help adult children move out of their homes.
In London, isn't it?
Adult children? That's the weirdest image I've ever heard in my life. Adult children?
Oh, but
I would say...
So that's like blokes in their 40s that wear school uniforms. Those perverts. You see, perverts?
No.
Adult children.
Me.
Exactly.
What, tiny people with squeaky voices?
Yes.
Oh, hang on, that's another
wisdom.
phone in, isn't it? Adult children. See, I think Prince Harry is one because he's got like a child's head on a man's body.
OK, this is gold. I'm going to write this on the board in a second. Adults that look like children. Adult children. 08459 455 555. Is it still half term next week?
No.
Thank God. Right. Bedfordshire Police have apologised for not turning up to a meeting which they and Luton Borough Council called to discuss efforts to tackle street prostitution in Hightown. 2 years ago, they made a promise to clean up the streets of Luton within 5 years. Critics suggested this was impossible and they'd simply be moving the problem around. Well, Shazad Kadam leads the Hightown Against Prostitution campaign. Morning, Shazad.
Good morning, Ian.
So this meeting last night, hardly anyone turned up, Shazad. No one seems to care anymore.
Well, I think we were trying to fool ourselves that someone did care. The meeting was actually was supposed to happen last week, Thursday, and none of the partners attended at all. It was just the residents. And, we've always knew, well, we didn't know this, but in the back of our mind, we always had this doubt. They've left it here for 20 years.
But then hardly any of the residents turned up, Shazad. There were a dozen people there.
Well, the thing is, most residents are afraid to come out and be seen talking to the police and be seen talking to the councillors regarding this issue.
But you've had you've had better attended meetings than this, Shazad. But people are obviously just not getting bothered about it anymore, are they?
No, they are bothered. They're really bothered. People are afraid, but a lot of people, some people, just pack up their bags and leave.
But to get 12 residents, Shazad, turn up to a meeting.
It's better than no meeting, no partners.
Well, you can't play. You're playing my willy's bigger than your willy. Really, it doesn't really work in this thing. If people in the area are so upset, and we'll get onto the police and the council in a minute. Don't worry, I'm not going to give you a completely rough ride. But if only 12 residents could be bothered to turn up, doesn't that say to you, Shazad, they're bored of it?
It shows that there are vulnerable people who are afraid to come out and speak to residents. But when they have been in previous meetings and the partners and the police have made promises for the last 25 years. These people are, either they're just fed up with hearing the same promises.
Given up. So they've given up.
Well, that could be, that could be reason they have given up, and you know what? I don't blame them, because we just get fed with promises and fed with empty promises and empty lies, and people all we've been told is the same thing over and over again. But in fact, that this area was designated for this crime, and the partners played a big part of keeping it here, and they've got no reason to move it on. They've got nowhere else for it to go, so they wanted to stay here.
So if the residents have given up on this ever getting sorted out, what were you expecting from the police?
Well, I expected them to turn up at least.
Had they said they were definitely going to... they'd organised this meeting, had they?
Oh, this meeting was organised a couple of months ago. There's posters of it up.
And it says the local police are organising this meeting, and we will definitely be there.
Well, maybe we should have got an RSVP from them. Should have phoned them up and I'll confirm with them. Maybe that's our mistake. Like other operations, they're there for 1 week, and then the next couple of months, you don't see them. Maybe we should have. It's our fault. We should have checked with them and find out that. We'll just confirm whether they are turning up or not.
So, what was the mood amongst the dozen people that were there? You waited for 2 hours, did you?
Well, unfortunately, we did, and we just thought maybe. It was an error on someone on the time. Someone forgot to wake up on time in the morning, and maybe we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. It was just pointless, and it got frustrating in the end. And it just shows that everyone felt the same way. That it's always the same thing with the partners. That they just tell us something just to keep us quiet for a little while, and just to. So we don't make any, the residents don't make any noise. We've got a right to ask to live in a peaceful area. We pay our council taxes. We don't want no street workers standing outside our doorstep, outside our garden. If they're happy for it to stay, outside their front garden, or outside the town hall or the police station, they can move them on there. We don't want it outside our house.
Did you phone up the police? What have they said to you?
Well, I actually
about not turning up at the meeting.
Well, I think the paper in question did speak to them, and they said they didn't have. They simply forgot. They didn't have. I think.
So hang on, Shazad. Listen, if I'm waiting for a meeting, I had a meeting yesterday in London with a bloke. He was 8 minutes late. I phoned him up. Did you not phone anyone up in the evening?
I actually did phone up. There was a number on the paper.
Right, and what did they say?
I didn't get through to anyone.
Right, and you've not phoned anyone up since?
Yesterday, I spoke to the inspector.
Yeah, and what did the inspector say?
He actually came down to see me, and, to be honest with you, we didn't, he said that he just come on to the operation, and he will, give him a bit of time, and you will see results. But, do we believe what he says, like the rest of the inspectors? Do we, just keep quiet and do as we're told, and just wait for results like the last 20 years, or do we actually do something about it?
We're only 2 years, just over 2 years into the 5-year plan, so there's still plenty of time to go if we believe what they said about it taking 5 years.
Well, if other areas can do it in 18 months, don't you think that it was an easy way out for them just to quieten the residents out? Just say, look, that's an easy excuse, isn't it?
18 months, though, is 18 months.
The resources.
Shazad, 18 months, that's short-termism, though, isn't it? Because to do it in 18 months, it just means all the prostitutes and the drug dealers get pushed 2 miles that way. If you want to have a sustained thing where you are encouraging people to stop living this lifestyle of having to deal drugs, having to sell their bodies, that's going to take longer.
Other towns can do it, why can't Luton do it?
Well, because that's short-termism. That's not solving the problem. That's just pushing the problem into...
They've solved the problem.
Well, no, they've just moved...
Have you spoken to Ipswich?
What? So they've completely got rid of prostitution in Ipswich
from that area,
and they've just
from that area
exactly, Shazad, and they've just moved it to another area.
If it's outside your house, are you bothered where it goes?
Yes, I am, mate.
Well, if you wouldn't move it on from your doorstep.
What? So
you want to move it? You don't want it outside your doorstep.
That's like there's a dog poo outside my doorstep, and I just brush it 2 doors down, so my next door neighbour's got to worry about stepping in it.
You make sure that dog don't come to your doorstep anymore, mate.
And how do you do that?
Well, you tell me. You know, the people which are the partners which are there, they're getting paid to protect the residents of Luton.
They're getting paid to protect the residents of Luton, which is why a short-termism plan of just moving it 2 miles down the road, moving it to 2 streets along, that isn't the solution, is it, Shazad?
We've never said that we want to move. Now,
you literally just said, Shazad, you literally just said it then. You literally just said it.
We want it moved away from our doorstep.
Yeah,
we don't want it moved outside. We don't. It can go to industries. It can go wherever it wants. We just don't want it on our doorstep.
So you've just said it then. You've literally just said it. You can move it wherever you want. We don't want it outside our doorstep.
I never said outside. No, I don't want it. I'm not saying I want it outside your doorstep, do I? I don't care where it goes.
No, you don't care. It could be my doorstep. It could be my mum's doorstep. It could be my kid's doorstep. It could be my mate's doorstep.
Maybe then you'll know how the residents feel.
But that's Shazad. That's not the way to feel about it. Yeah, okay.
Well, when you have it 30 years outside your doorstep,
I must be tired.
Exactly.
I'm talking about the prostitutes.
Well, there's a new academy running, I think, in Hightown somewhere.
A prostitute academy.
Road. Well,
hang on, Shazad. Hang on. Now you took. There's a prostitute academy running up.
Well, there must be, isn't there? If there's 2 new ones coming along all the time.
Do you not feel sorry for those girls?
So, you know what, Ian? I've spoken to a few of them, and you know what I've got? Answers I've got back from them. It's none of your business, and we choose to do this, right? It's easy money.
So you don't feel sorry for the girls that have to sell their bodies?
No, there are vulnerable ones out there. There are genuine ones, but some of them are just using the system because they know they can get away with it. They're using the system just because they don't want to work and easy money.
It must be so easy, Shazad, having to have sex with loads of random, horrible, fat, sweaty blokes.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know, Ian.
I'm sure you wouldn't. Shazad, listen, it's always good to talk to you. Thank you. Shazad Kadam leads the Hightown Against Prostitution campaign.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M25 anti-clockwise, it's still closed between junction 10 for the Wisley interchange and 8 for Reigate because a lorry overturned. It's causing queues from junction 11 for Chertsey. And on the M1 southbound, there's reports that a lane's been blocked at junction 14 for Milton Keynes because a lorry's on fire. In Bletchley on Watling Street, that's closed because of an accident between Standing Way and Saxon Street, which could cause some delays by the Denby Industrial Estate. And on the train to Bellier Greater Anglia have delays through Broxbourne of about 15 minutes because of a faulty train. And on the London Underground, the Central Line is suspended between Woodford and Epping. There are severe delays on the rest of the line. That's because of a faulty train. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sammy, thank you very much. If you've got any views on the conversation I just had with Mr. Gadam, you're more than welcome to give us a call, of course. Not talking to Sammy, I'm talking to you, dear listener. Although she can as well. She's not excluded. It'd be weird, though, wouldn't it? 08459 455 555. It's 7:17. It's Friday the 10th of April. Here are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Bedfordshire Police has apologised for not turning up to a meeting which they organised about the problem of prostitution in the Hightown area of Luton. 3 people, including 2 teenagers, were arrested by police in High Wycombe yesterday afternoon in the latest spate of vandalism to cars in the town. One of the people arrested was caught
in his pants.
BBC Three Counties Radio. Every weekday morning.
Coming up at 9 on the Big Phone In this morning, is it a good idea to make jobless teenagers work for their benefits?
How would you like this country to stand up to President Putin? Are you surprised to see British people being blatantly racist?
The JVS Show.
I think we've got to get over this issue about racism doesn't exist. It has existed. It will probably carry on existing.
What I wanted to say is they've got this completely the wrong way round.
You know, that is also true. That is also true.
You will always get some, but they are such a minority.
I think the man's a buffoon.
Get him up, get him out of bed, give him a sense of purpose.
The JVS Show.
Do you think we have got to, as a country, start taking this issue more seriously?
Every weekday morning on BBC Three Counties Radio. Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
We'll do some texts in a bit. Let's speak to our guest, and then we're going to do some texts.
There's no rush.
You've got to sort through them, have you? 81333, start your text 3CR. Now, it's expected that £200 million will be spent betting this weekend at Aintree. The Grand National is a race known to attract bets from people who don't normally do it and don't really know what they're doing. Is it all a bit of innocent fun, or does it introduce people to the seedy world of gambling? We can speak to John McCurrick now. Morning, John.
Morning, Iain.
The Grand National, it's never really floated my boat. Is it exciting?
It is fantastic.
Tell me why.
It is fantastic. It sort of unites the nation for 10 minutes. It is absolutely magnificent. The courage of the riders, the horses, the spectacle. It's set alive and the sun will be shining. It's a magnificent 10 minutes plus.
Why do you think it grabs the attention of the nation so much, John?
I think there's a history of it, for a start. Back to 1839, over those formidable 30 fences. We can argue about them and whether they've been changed and how much they've been changed and everything like that. But it's a magnificent unique British event. Nowhere else around the world is anything to compare with it.
And it is that thing that people who wouldn't normally have all offices around the country will have sweepstakes. There'll be people putting bets that, putting a couple of quid on because there's a horse that's named after their nan's second house. People get involved, don't they?
Of course they do, and you're drawn to it, especially. It's the biggest gambling race of the year by far. It has the biggest TV audience. It is a magnificent spectacle to watch it. Now, they've altered the fences. The old-timers, the people in racing, really are pretty horrified. They've taken the stiff birch out of the fences. The fences have been levelled off. Beecher's Brook no longer exists as the great drop that you used to have. Jockeys used to say it was like jumping off the edge of the world. At Beecher's no longer there. I'm all for that. We've got to think of health.
Because that has saved horses' lives, hasn't it? The last 2 years, I think it is no horses have died.
Exactly. And that is what overshadows Aintree. See, the problem we've got here is one of perception. And the animal rights people who want to abolish really steeplechasing, abolish racing, are animal lovers. You've got to accept that. They love animals as much as we do. But they've got this morbid need for death. They need horses to die. It's horrible to say it, but it is a fact, and they're there.
Who needs horses to die?
The animal lovers.
Huh?
Because the animal rights people. Because that's what their campaign is based on. And when they have no deaths for the last 2 years, for them it's been a disaster. And they need death. And it's awful to think about it, but by their machines, all their publicity is all geared up. They want death. And so it's very, very sad. And it's one of those things that the National is here. It is an institution.
I don't think the animal rights people want death. They want the opposite. They want no death.
No, they need death. Not that they want it, they need it. Without death, their cause withers away.
But by reducing the deaths, surely, and I'm being impartial, but I'm playing devil's advocate a little bit. But by there being no death, that proves their point in the past that Beecher's Brook and those other jumps that have been levelled a little bit, they were cruel.
They've done absolutely the right thing.
And that's from pressure from animal rights people, isn't it?
It's pressure from so many people. Long before the animal rights people were going. Up to 1960, the fences were upright. There used to be a brick wall there. Things have changed so much.
A brick wall on the race?
But there used to be. There used to be in the 19th century. So things have changed. Bits of it were over a ploughed field. Things have changed so much, rightly so. Some people in racing object to it. They say it's all gone soft and everything. It hasn't. The visual spectacle is there, the courage and the bravery that's needed to get over those 30 fences is there, that they've altered the start slightly, all sorts of things have been done, modified, quite rightly so. But the animal rights people, it is awful to say, but it is a fact, without death, they have no cause. And that is very sad to say, and they are waiting, and they are not, they, as I say, they do love animals, Iain. Make no mistake, of course they do. Of course, but they need a death. They need it for their propaganda and their publicity.
It could be argued, John, that horse racing in itself is a cruel sport.
Now,
Because
it's a very good point you make there. But think of what the ultimate outcome of that would be. If you accept that it is cruel, that is terrible, there would be no thoroughbreds. So you are condemning to death, not you are, but the people who have their way, if they manage to do away with steeplechasing and with hurdling and then with horse racing, then nobody would breed them. So they are condemning thoroughbreds to die.
Well, no.
Yes, they are.
Well,
Nobody will keep them.
That's not condemning them to death. That's just condemning them to them not being bred anymore.
Yeah. Well, and those
so you're not going to go around and shoot them?
Well, those who are alive, who will keep them? Who would keep them for 20? A horse who lives to 25 to 30. Who would keep them for all these years if they'd not been racing or anything like that? So they're doing away with a whole species. They would be doing away with. That's what they're going to face up to. If they had their way and did away with racing, there would be no thoroughbreds.
John, what are you up to these days?
Not very much. Sort of scratching around and doing bits and pieces.
How are you putting food on the table?
Well, it is very hard, and it's one of those things when you've been sacked and you can no longer work. You wake up in the morning and you listen to Three Counties Radio. You watch Jeremy Kyle, Deal or No Deal. I'm keeping away from Judge Rinder at the moment. So it's very sad when you're not working. And you know, Ian, when you wake up in the morning, you've got a job. I've worked for 60 years, whatever it is. You've got to have, or you need to have something to do, an inspiration, a purpose in life. And I got no purpose in life, and it's very sad. But that's what happened to me. You lose a case and you're out of work, and that's it.
The reason it's interesting you say you've got no purpose in it. I hope you don't mind us going off on this tangent, John.
Go on.
It's because you don't sound as sparky as you have done when I've spoken to you in the past. You do sound like you've lost something. I don't know if that's you getting older or if that's kind of the situation you're in.
I hope it's not true. I don't think it is true. But if you think that, it's up to you. And I've worked with you before.
And I've always enjoyed working. I've always enjoyed working with you, John. And I do think it's sad that you're not working, and I think it's a waste.
Well, it's sweet of you to say so, but that's for what other people to judge and how the programme and the racing is covered generally with the new team that are doing it. But overall, so important for racing. The next 48 hours at Aintree is the climax of the year as far as racing and the outside world goes, and it is the perception that racing. You've got the use of the whip, for instance. Just one example. I'm against whipping horses. Now, I always have been. Well, not always have been. Well, I'm a convert, so nothing's worse than the zealotry of a convert. Of course, I used to be in the betting shops or whatever it was. Of course, one more hit, didn't hit him hard enough or often enough, and I thought, what are we doing here? We're hitting animals in the name of sport. Nowhere else can you actually legally hit anybody, any animal, anything. And yet in racing, they continue to use the whip. Racing would go on without the whip. A.P. McCoy would still be champion jockey, and Ryan Moore and all the other top jockeys, they were exactly the same. Horses can race. There are races they hold in this country with hands and heels only. Have the whip for controlling and steering a horse, but not for hitting it. And that's the shame at the end of a big race, especially like the Grand National, when it's absolutely, it is the most important race in the lives of the jockeys. We're hitting horses, and it turns off. Millions of people are turned off by the sight of that. If only we could grow up and do away without the whip.
Who's going to win tomorrow, John?
Well, I think Rocky Creek is not being very clever, but it's the horse that's got virtually everything in its favour. So I go along with Rocky Creek, number 4. I think he's got a tremendous chance.
John, I always love talking to you. Take care of yourself.
Thank you, Mr. Iain.
Thank you, John. Take care. Ta-ta. John McCririck. I worked with John in the past, and he's absolutely bonkers, but he's wonderful. He's wonderful. Isn't that sad? He's got no purpose in life. I know he's not everyone's cup of tea, and I know a lot of people think he's a boring old misogynist.
It was a character just the same as Thingy.
He's Katie Hopkins, he's Jeremy Clarkson, he's all of these people.
He's Katie Hopkins with a bit more humour, I think.
Yeah, and a bit more, I was going to say a bit more understanding, maybe that's true.
Self-deprecation.
Yeah, he's all of those people, and isn't that sad? I've got no purpose anymore.
He was lying there in his pants as well.
You stop, you're obsessed about having...
romp in his pants.
I hope he didn't mind me. I suspect, I sensed he didn't want to go off on that tangent too much, and that's absolutely fine. But
you know what he's like, he'd have told you to jog on.
He would have told me to jog on.
Well, when I said thank you for joining us, he said that's okay, great fun.
Oh, good. Well, that's nice to know. 08459 455 555. Catherine, sort out those texts. They're coming up next.
Travel news for beds.
Hang on. Sorry,
No, take your time with the text because...
No, Sammy, sorry.
No one's sending...
I've just got a good one. Sort out those Texes. They're coming up nexes.
That was worth it.
Thank you, Sammy.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Anti-clockwise on the M25. It's still closed between junction 10 for the Wisley Interchange and 8 for Reigate because of an overturned lorry, and it's causing delays from junction 11 for Chertsey. Also on the M25, it's slow anti-clockwise around junction 16 for the M40. On the M1 southbound, a lane's blocked at junction 14 for Milton Keynes because a lorry's on fire, and in Bletchley on Watling Street, that's been closed because of an accident between Standing Way and Saxon Street, which is causing delays, and the old A5 there is closed, according to Chris, who called in. On the trains, Bellier Greater Anglia have delays of 15 minutes through Broxbourne because of a faulty train, and on the London Underground, the Central Line has severe delays because of a broken down train at Ruislip Gardens. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7:30. I'm Simon Oxley. Bedfordshire Police has apologised for not turning up to a meeting which they organised about the problem of prostitution in the Hightown area of Luton. Campaigners have defended the fact that only 12 residents turned up. 3 people, including 2 teenagers, were arrested by police in High Wycombe yesterday afternoon in the latest spate of vandalism to cars in the town. And tributes are being paid to the Australian cricketer and commentator Richie Benaud, who's died at the age of 84.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
World number 1 Rory McIlroy is 7 shots behind leader Jordan Spieth after the opening round of the Masters at Augusta.
I was pretty nervous, excited, but I just, I've been wanting to get going for a while now, even since the end of last week. So it was nice to just get out there and get a scorecard in the hand and start this tournament, and I'm pretty pleased with how I started.
McIlroy hit a 1-under par 71, but American Spieth opened a 3-shot lead with an 8-under 64. Justin Rose is among those in joint second on 5-under. Tiger Woods is 1 over after a 73, as is Woburn's Ian Poulter. Watford striker Troy Deeney is the Championship Player of the Month for March. Third place Watford travel to Millwall tomorrow. The Hornets are currently 1 point behind leaders Bournemouth, who are at Brighton tonight. Ahead of the League One trip to Port Vale, MK Dons manager Carl Robinson says they're hoping to sign on loan 19-goal striker Will Grigg on a permanent basis.
Brentford paid a lot of money for him. It's a big investment that they paid, and I'm not too sure whether we can compete with the investment that Brentford made. And again, that's just the reality of where we are. We'll try and do the best of what we possibly can to try and make Will Grigg play for MK Dons next season, but we are also realists as well. If the price is right, we'll do the deal.
Wycombe boss Gareth Ainsworth is the League Two Manager of the Month for March. Third place Wanderers host bottom club Cheltenham tomorrow. In the race for playoff places, Stevenage are at home to Northampton. Luton are at home to leaders Burton. Here's Hatters midfielder Cameron McGeehan.
I think playoffs would have been a great achievement at the beginning of the year. So obviously got ahead of ourselves maybe a little bit, being in the top 3 at the time. Maybe that sort of raised the expectations for everyone, and then you sort of go on a bad one and everyone thinks, oh, it's the end of the world, but it's not. It's playoffs and we're there and we've got the chance to go and play at Wembley and get promoted into League One. It's still right in our grasp.
And Lewis Hamilton was fastest in first practice for Sunday's Chinese Grand Prix. The Hertfordshire driver finished ahead of teammate Nico Rosberg and Ferrari's Sebastian Vettel. The Milton Keynes Red Bull cars were 6th and 7th. Second practice is taking place now. BBC Three Counties News and Sports. The next full bulletin is at 8.
There's a voice that keeps on calling me. Down the road, it's where I'll always be. Every stop I make a new friend. Can't stay for long, just turn around and I'm gone again. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on. Down this road that never seems to end. When new adventure lies just around the bend. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's hobo style. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, the whole world is my home. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's hobo style. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, There's a world that's waiting to unfold, a brand new tale no one has ever told. We've journeyed far, but you know it won't be long. We're almost there and we paid our fare with a hobo song. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's hobo style. Maybe tomorrow I'll find what I call home. Until tomorrow, you know I'm free to roll.
Catherine joins me in my studio at the hour. Morning.
Territorial.
Sorry?
Your studio.
Yes. Gaston joins me from Australia. Good morning, Gaston.
Yes, good morning, Ian. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Hey, what are you doing in Australia, mate?
I've no idea, to be honest, mate. My family moved out when I was younger.
How old were you? Because I'm hardly picking up any Australian accent.
Oh, that's awesome. I moved out when I was 17.
And how old are you now?
23, I believe.
I'm getting a little. You sound like a 40-year-old man. You've got a very masculine voice. I'm getting a little hint of Australian coming through.
There's a slight twang, isn't there?
There's an Australian twang, but it's primarily English. What you got? Whereabouts in Australia, if you Gaston? It's a big place, I've been told.
It is a big place. I'm in Perth, WA.
I have been to. I think I've been to Brisbane. I don't know.
Brizzy.
I don't. Yeah, sure. Why not? I think I went to Brisbane. I did a week commentating on that Silly Jungle programme, and then I went to Brisbane for a day, and then I came back home.
Nice.
Gaston? What you got for us?
Yeah, I was going to talk about the flattery. Back when I was in England, I was in drama school, so there was a good, healthy mix of the of both orientations.
Yep.
And I found it not best flattering. However, I do have this recurring dream that confuses things.
I'm worried to ask, but I'm going to ask Gaston. What happens in your dream?
Yeah, you might have to take this out. I don't know.
Whoa.
Are you? Gaston,
is that part of the dream?
Is this? Are you using this as some kind of therapy, Gaston? In your dream, are you?
In his pants.
Kelly bed, shortly.
Sorry? You know we're live on the radio now.
I don't live there anymore, so we're all good.
In your dream, you're having it away with a fella?
No.
Is that what happens?
Dale Winton.
Dale
Winton! Oh, wow.
No!
Of all the games...
And you're 23. He's like old enough to be your granddad.
There's nothing untoward going on.
Just romance.
He shows up and he rescues me.
Oh.
Rescues you from different scenarios. What are some of the scenarios that Dale Winton rescues you from in your dreams? That's a great sentence, isn't it?
Well, I'll set the scene. I never have the provenance of the dream. I just show up in a random scenario.
Yeah.
Last one was at my house and it was burning, and Dale shows up. He's just got some ripped jeans and no shirt with suspenders. And he's muscular. I'm not sure he's muscular in real life, but
he's quite buff. He pumps off a lot, I've been told. Gaston, listen, Gaston, are you by the sea at the moment?
I'm driving.
Oh, okay. Listen, Gaston, I'm going to let you go because it's not the best line.
Wow.
Please call again because that was a brilliant call. I wondered where that was going to go.
I'm going to have some crazy dreams tonight.
Gaston, mate, that was great. Hey, listen, by the way, if you want to call, if you listen on the podcast and you work out what time we're on, you want to call from a foreign country, we call you back. Sorry, Just, you all right?
Sorry.
Do you want me to put your fader down?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
We call you back. We pay for the phone call. You call us up. Kelly takes your details. She calls you back, or Catherine will call you back, and we pay for the phone call. So that was what a great call from Gaston.
That was one of the best calls I've ever heard. Brilliant.
A shirtless Dale Winton.
Ripped jeans rescues you from different scenarios. That's the best call ever. Clever. Thank you, mate. Oh, can we put that in the podcast, Kelly?
Yes.
And if you're listening to the podcast from a different part of the world, you work out we're on 6 till 9, Monday to Friday in the morning. Work out what the time is. You don't even have to know what we're talking about. If you just call up and say, I can't think of anywhere else in the world.
He actually did that. He called up and said, I'm in Australia. What are you talking about today?
Beautiful. You call up, we call you back. 08459 455 555, and you'll be listening to this in the podcast now.
I want that dream.
We're all going to get that dream.
Wasn't that wonderful? That's made me laugh so much. What a great call. Thank you, Gaston.
Now, the reason we were talking about that was because of Barry Manilow stunning his legion of female adoring Fanilows.
Loads of Fanilows.
Because they had no idea that he was homosexual. It can't be true, they said. Yes, it is. Just ask his new husband, Barry. Gary.
And I genuinely, this made me so happy. And two things made me happy. One, that he'd done it, good for him, and two, that yesterday it was like 2 paragraphs in the paper. I thought, well, haven't we come a long way from the days of outing people, outing pop stars? Oh, did you know such and such is gay? Career over. That one of the biggest stars in the world gets 2 paragraphs that he's gay and got married.
There was a third reason I was pleased about it. They got married last year. No one said anything.
Beautiful. And it got us talking about, being chatted up. If you're a straight bloke being chatted up by a gay gentleman, would you find it flattering? I've always found it flattering in the past. I've always found it flattering.
Me too. I've received my attention from the ladies. It's always nice.
Well, yeah.
When I had long hair, I was a particular favourite, so it's not the short hair thing.
It's nice to know that you've still got it either way.
Exactly. And that someone else wants it.
Justin.
Yes.
What exactly did you take to the streets in the end? It's been a confusing morning.
Yeah, it has been. This, by the way, gets very, very awkward. What's coming up here?
More awkward than Gaston's phone call?
It's, along the same lines, that's for sure.
You didn't go up to men in the street and say, how would you feel if a gay man said you looked attractive this morning, did you? Because that might have sounded like you were doing the chatting.
Nope. I did put that question to people. I've also been asking ladies, if you believe some of the hype. Ladies yesterday, they were very, very upset. They were crying. They couldn't believe the news. How dare Barry Manilow be gay? No, he's not gay. I'm refusing to believe this. So we've got both coming up here. And again, this does get very, very awkward and tense. Take a listen. Sam, can I ask you a question? Are you gay?
No.
How would you feel if a gay man gave you a compliment? Said, oh, you look nice today. Would it bother you?
As long as it didn't touch me, no.
Wow. As long as it didn't touch you?
Yeah.
Okay. You see, personally, I would find it more of a compliment. But I don't think you would. No. This conversation is getting quite awkward.
It is, yeah.
Should we leave it there?
Yeah.
Not my cup of tea, but I'd appreciate the compliment all the same.
Yeah, well, his music's nice and he's got a nice voice, but his life is his life, and it's like all these stars. They're entitled to live their life the way they want to.
Morning, boss. What's your name?
Dexter.
Dexter? Yeah. Wow, you're not going to murder me, are you?
No, I'm not going to murder you.
Good. That's a good start. How would you feel if a gay man gave you a compliment? We're talking about that this morning. Would you appreciate the compliment, or would you not like it?
No, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't what, sorry?
I wouldn't like it.
Can you tell me why? I mean, it's my perspective. I'm not a gay man myself, but if a gay man gave me a compliment on the way that I dress and the way that I look, I would find that quite flattering.
It depends on how he approaches me.
So if it's somebody you know, you wouldn't have a problem with that then?
No, I wouldn't.
But if it was a stranger, you would?
I would just walk off.
Redna, a lot of women very upset. Barry Manilow has married his manager, Gary. We've just found out about that. What's your reaction to that news? Are you upset by what you've heard?
Yes, I am very upset. Why has he got married and then being a gay?
Oh, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you upset that somebody that you don't know is gay? Why does that upset you?
Because of his career.
What about his career?
It will ruin his career because...
Why will it ruin his career?
Someone, for instance, he might choose what he wants to benefit for himself.
Good point. Sorry, Justin, did you get a time machine and go back to 1986 to get those Voxes?
No, this is what I said. It got very awkward out there. And I was just absolutely staggered. I thought this morning, a simple question like that, if somebody approached me on the street and asked me that question, it would just be like any other normal question. But this morning, I thought it was going to kick off.
And all that thing about, I don't want him touching me. Well, hang on a minute. Well, if if a woman chats you up, she doesn't pounce on you and start rubbing your leg.
I know.
When gay blokes have chatted me up, I've not led them on. But I've kind of let them do their little spiel. I say, look, I'm going to stop you there. You're barking up the wrong tree. I appreciate it, and I'm happy to have a chat. But this nothing is. This ain't going to go nowhere, fella.
I don't get it. I mean, this morning, half an hour? We could have been out there this morning for a good hour and a half, and I'm sure that the opinions would have been the same. Not great, but I think it's it's weird. I think those opinions, to be quite frank with you, are weird.
08459 455 555. Weird, or do you go along with them? If you're a bloke and a gay fella chats you up, or maybe has chatted you up, I can't see how you would take it any other way. You just simply go, I'm all right, thanks. I think a lot of people do think that gay blokes, that they kind of pounce on you, and it's the backs against the wall brigade that think that they're constantly going to be, I was going to say, humping away. I've said it.
Here's a newsflash, guys. They might not fancy you that much. They might just like your tie.
Exactly.
Justin, what are you going out on next?
Well, whatever you want. We can do what you were talking about earlier on about friends. How many close friends have you got? Are they from your school days, etc.? I am on the streets this morning, willing to do whatever.
Let's do the friends, because Kelly Betts claims to have dozens of best friends. I've got 3. I've got 3 best friends. I've got colleagues, and I've got friends, and I've got people I like, and I've got 3 best friends.
Are they from your school days?
No, mate.
Days? No?
I don't speak to anybody from my school days. You're slightly younger, and also you live in the area you grew up in.
Yeah, that's true.
And I've only recently and I think younger people are still friends with their school friends, because things like Friends Reunited and Facebook and stuff like that. So they keep in touch. There's a reason that you don't keep in touch with those people anymore.
I'm still friends with loads of my school friends, but they're not my best friends. We shared a lot of experiences and stuff, but our lives went in different directions, and if we meet up, that's cool, but I'm not going to be ringing them up every 5 minutes.
Just take it to the streets, mate. Speak to you in the next hour.
Cheers, boss.
Thank you, mate.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There are long delays on the M25 anti-clockwise from junction 11 for Chertsey to 8 for Reigate because a lorry overturned. It was fully closed, but now there is one lane open. Also anti-clockwise on the M25, it's very busy at junction 16 for the M40. On the M1 southbound, all the lanes have reopened at junction 14 for Milton Keynes after the lorry fire earlier on. And in Bletchley on Watling Street, that's been closed because of an accident between Standing Way and Saxon Street. That's still closed and causing some delays in the area. On the trains, Bellier Greater Anglia are running a normal service again through Broxbourne, but there are 10-minute delays on Virgin Trains West Coast between Milton Keynes Central and Rugby because of a problem with the train there. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sammy, thank you. Can we just let's go back a step, right? Let's go back a step. Is there anybody listening who is disappointed, disgusted, annoyed, or just upset that Barry Manilow has revealed himself to be gay? Is there anybody? I've had a nice email from Jill saying it's about time he came out.
Yeah.
You can understand why he didn't in the 70s. He was singing love songs to girls, and it was a different world. But is there anybody listening who genuinely thinks, it's disgusting? You shouldn't have come out. I don't want to know that.
Is it really a revelation to anyone either? I mean,
08459 455 555. You can text as well, 81333. Start your text 3CR. Right now, it's 7:47. It's Friday the 10th of April. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Bedfordshire Police has apologised for not turning up to a meeting in which they organised about the problem of prostitution in the Hightown area of Luton. 3 people, including 2 teenagers, were arrested by police in High Wycombe yesterday afternoon in the latest spate of vandalism to cars in the town. And tributes are being paid to cricket commentator Richie Benno, who has died at the age of 84. Barry, stay there. We'll come to you after the weather with Elizabeth.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello, good morning. We could be looking at the warmest day of the year so far. We've only got to beat 20.7, which we've got in eastern Scotland on Easter Sunday. Today, across the 3 counties, we may see somewhere at 21 or 22 degrees Celsius, which would be lovely, feeling very warm, of course. Lots of hazy sunshine because there is going to be quite a lot of high cloud around. We do still have some mist patches around to be burned back as well, but they'll go pretty quickly. So there will be some cloud around at times. A southerly breeze. It's actually pushing up some rather polluted air air from the near continent, so the air quality levels are pretty bad, but that will improve into tomorrow. But all in all, it's a very warm day. Now, as we head through into this evening and overnight, then we'll see quite a mild night to come, milder than it has been recently, lows of around 7 or 8 degrees. The cloud will thicken into tomorrow morning, and we'll see a cold front first thing on Saturday too. That's going to give us some spits and spots of rain, a few lighter bursts perhaps here and there through the morning, some cloud around as well, but a lovely afternoon on Saturday, just feeling a lot fresher, a different feel of things over the weekend. There'll still be lots of sunshine around on Saturday afternoon, very pleasant long spells of sunshine, but temperatures only up to around 14, perhaps 15 degrees. And again, a sunny start to Sunday with things clouding over into the afternoon, perhaps a few dribs and drabs of rain, but it's looking fine and dry as pressure builds once more into next week. That's the forecast.
As the general election gets closer, we want to know what you really think.
Sometimes it gets a bit boring, I think.
But we kind of feel like nothing changes.
Parliament really needs a good shake-up.
We're holding a number of debates across Beds, Herts and Bucks, focusing on the biggest issues.
The national health, I think that's a big concern at the moment.
Immigration, probably.
I think education more than anything.
If you'd like to take part and have your say, you can register your interest right now. Email 3cr@bbc.co.uk or call 08459 455 555.
I always do the vote because I think it's my right to vote.
Election 2015 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Tim's in Bromham, and I hear he's hot stuff. Hello, Tim.
Good morning.
Tell us about what happened to you.
I was out on a night out in Manchester with my wife and my brother-in-law and sister-in-law.
I bet I know which street you're on.
Canal Street,
Yeah,
that's it.
I know it.
And we had a really good night out, and we were stood in the street with a drink, and this couple of guys walked past, and one of them gave me the eye as he was walking past, and he said deliberately, very loudly to his mate, "Isn't it such a shame when the best ones are straight?"
Oh.
And I was like, yes.
Hey!
I was absolutely delighted.
It's nice, isn't it? Someone thinks you're attractive, gay or straight, male or female. Someone thinks you've still got it.
Absolutely. And I'm not exactly the Mona Lisa, let's put it that way.
What do you look like, Tim?
Oh, tall, dark, handsome and rugged, I'd say.
All right, in real life, what do you look like?
Yeah, short, fat and balding.
Oh.
You might be what they call a bear.
Yeah.
Are you a bear? You
No,
could be...
I'm not. No, I'm not a bear.
Okay.
I'm certainly not a bear.
Do you look
I'm
like...
not-
I'm imagining like a Mitchell brother type look.
Yeah, a little bit more hair than the Mitchells, but similar.
All right.
Tim, thank you for sharing your story. I appreciate that.
He sounds gorgeous.
Yeah, it sounds all right, isn't it? The weirdest story... Well, it's quite boring, really.
Go on, tell me anyway.
We've struck oil. Massive oil reserves have been discovered in the countryside around Gatwick Airport. The find revealed yesterday could be worth around £450 billion. Prospectors said there could be 100 billion barrels of oil under the ground. Then Rylan, who I love Rylan, I work with Rylan, he's the nicest bloke in the world. Have you seen this tweet from Rylan, Kelly? 100 billion barrels of oil could be under the ground. Rylan's tweeted, "Without trying to sound stupid, how do you just find 100 billion barrels of oil casually under the ground? How did they get there?"
What, pre-packaged?
How did they get there?
Oh, he's a plumber, isn't he?
100 billion. He lives in a world where someone has dug a hole and gone, flipping out, look at all these barrels, let me count. Blimey, there's 100 billion barrels and they're all full of oil. How did they get there?
Must have been them dinosaurs. That's hilarious.
He's such a plum. I love it.
And everyone told him, some more gently than others.
How did they get there? Oh, good for you, Rylan.
And
Rylan used to chat me up.
Did he?
Rylan used to chat me up all the time. Used to try and persuade me to go over to his side. Constantly. I could have been in there.
Well,
too skinny for me.
Who was that caller we had the other day that said you could be gay on a weekend and a real man, quote unquote, on a Monday?
That was a while ago, wasn't it? Yes, I remember that.
He said if you wanted a baby that badly, you would. How did they get there is the question they're asking about these diamond robbers.
Oh, yeah, you love these guys.
Well,
'cause you're common and your class look up to thieves.
I'm common.
I'm middle class and I look down on thieves. There could have been my jewels in there. Could have been my gems. We said yesterday it wasn't Tom Cruise who climbed down a long shaft to get to the crown jewels.
No.
No.
They didn't climb anyway.
Like
They
Mission Impossible
abseiled.
style-y.
They
Yep.
abseiled.
Okay.
Listen to this, right? Diamond robbers carried out the £35 million Hatton Garden raid after hiding inside the safe deposit
May I
centre,
stop
it was
you?
believed last night.
May I
What?
stop you?
What?
How do they know it's 35 million? They've got no idea what was in those safety deposit boxes. It could be a quid, it could be $1 billion. Barrels of oil.
Someone knows.
Okay.
Posing as builders. This goes to show, right, if you want to... I don't want to give any tips to arch criminals out there, but if you get yourself a fluorescent jacket, you can... It looks like you can nick what you like. Posing as builders, they walked through the entrance and hid in a back room until the complex in London's jewellery district closed for Easter. They then disabled the lift, climbed down the shaft to the basement and forced open heavy metal shutters leading to the deposit boxes. Using a diamond-tipped drill, the crooks bored large holes in the 6-foot-thick reinforced concrete walls and slipped inside the vault. The gang then used power tools to break open the 70 boxes containing diamonds, gold, jewellery, cash and other valuables.
You got this, Dave.
Listen to this. Details of the audacious raid emerged as Scotland Yard appealed for witnesses who spotted anything suspicious in the street in Holborn over the bank holiday weekend. So if you saw a builder...
I tell you what I spotted suspicious in Holborn, that fire in the road.
Yeah, that was... Oh! Hang on a minute.
Guys!
When was that?
Over bank holiday weekend.
Distraction
of men in their prime. Dave, what you got for us? Hello, Dave.
Sorry, yeah. I was just thanking you for your comments with that so-called horse lover, how he outraged me with his comments about the animal rights people
You're
speaking
of
John McCorrick,
who said that animal rights people wanted the horses to die. He needed the horses to die. Yeah, go on.
I'm
It's a good
fuming
line,
about
isn't it?
his
Why are you
stupid
fuming?
comments. Well, obviously it's a disaster if a horse dies. If they cared so much, he mentions the thoroughbreds that would be put down if horse racing became outlawed.
Yeah.
Well, if they cared so much for the animal, surely they would keep their animal anyway. As he rightly said,
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money, though. Those horses eat so much food, and if they're not earning.
Yeah, so that's what it boils down to, is it? Whether you're earning or not. I quite agree. That's what a lot of times in horse racing, where a lot of animals do end up being put down. But it proves the barbaric system.
There's no horses have died in the Grand National in the last 2 years. That makes it all right, doesn't it?
Well, as he rightly said, they've removed that brick wall, but even some people are anti that. Were anti that because as
the brick wall was in. Did he say that was in the 60s or in the 19th century? I found it a little bit hard to follow.
You mentioned 19th century, yeah.
Yeah. So the brick wall's been gone for over 100 years. So I'm pretty sure that won't come back.
Yeah, good. But as he said, people were upset about that idea, and even now they're upset that it's taming the Grand National. It's being tamed down a little bit to be less barbaric for the horses, less cruel. Well, these people, I'm sure, could get their kicks from knowing that many of the animals that don't make the grade end up as dog meat anyway. So I'm sure that might make them happy if they could just bear with it and realise that horse racing is cruel still, so they don't have to be too upset.
Do you really think that people watch the Grand National to see horses die? That's the fun part of it.
No. That's why they put a great big screen round any incidents that occur. They don't want the publicity.
Well, why are you suggesting that people will be happy knowing that horses die anyway because they go to dog food factories?
No, not saying that, no. But what
I heard you say that.
I'm saying that it's a cruel industry that doesn't want these facts known, that over 300 horses a year die anyway that are bred for racing. They die of injuries sustained in their work, if you like.
Where'd you get those stats from, Dave?
Sorry?
Where'd you get those stats from?
From a campaign group called Animal Aid.
Okay. Animal Aid are the ones that are calling for the Grand National to be banned, amongst others. Dave, who are you going to put your money on this year?
Are you joking? I put my money. There's a campaign by Animal Aid that says, "Why not put your money on a horse that's in a sanctuary that's been rescued from racing, such as Hillside Animal Sanctuary?
Beautiful.
Why not help a horse in that situation?
Dave?
If people love the animals that much, perhaps spare a thought for those. Maybe put the money there."
Dave, I appreciate your call. Thank you, mate.
Thank you.
Cheers,
Bye.
Dave. Ta-ta.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M25 anti-clockwise, the entry slip road from junction 18 for Chorleywood is closed because of lorries overturned there. And also anti-clockwise on the M25 between junction 11 for Chertsey and 8 for Reigate. There are long delays because of an overturned lorry earlier on. There's only one lane open there at the moment. On the M1 southbound, it's all moving well through junction 14 for Milton Keynes now after a lorry fire earlier. And in Bletchley on Watling Street, that's still closed in both directions between Standing Way and Saxon Street. In Watford, it's looking busy on the speed sensors on Stevenson Way out of Watford, and on the trains, Virgin Trains West Coast are reporting 10-minute delays between Milton Keynes Central and Rugby because of a problem with the train. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Lisa on Twitter, I always thought my gaydar worked well. It never occurred to me that Barry Manilow was gay. What? She's come up with a great phone-in, though. People who marry and their names rhyme. She's got a good friend, Mandy, who is with an Andy. Genius.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: police apologise for not attending Luton meeting, 3 arrests after more car vandalism in Wickham, and tributes to voice of cricket Richie Benaud.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Bedfordshire Police has apologised for not turning up to a meeting which they organised about the problem of prostitution in the Hightown area of Luton. 2 years ago, the Force and Luton Borough Council announced a 5-year strategy to deal with the issue. But although only 12 residents turned up, Shazad Kadam from Hightown Against Prostitution told this programme that was understandable.
When they have been in previous meetings and the partners and the police have made promises for the last 25 years, these people are, they're just fed up with hearing the same promises.
Given up. So they've given up.
Well, that could be, that could be reason. They have given up, and you know what? I don't blame them.
3 people, including 2 teenagers, were arrested by police in High Wycombe yesterday afternoon in the latest spate of car vandalism in the town. A car was set on fire in Arundel Road. Several other vehicles were damaged. 3 males aged 22, 19 and 17 were arrested. A £1,000 reward has been offered following several weeks of vandalism, thought to be linked to the inquest verdict on local man Habib Ullah. A man is due to appear in court today, charged with trying to arrange a contract killing. Police say the alleged intended victim lives in Bedfordshire. More from Lee Agnew.
48-year-old Paul Matthews of no fixed address was arrested by detectives in Norfolk on Wednesday. Matthews, also known as Paul Vass, has been charged with soliciting to commit murder and possession of an imitation firearm with intent to cause fear of violence. He'll appear at Luton Magistrates Court today.
Police investigating the murder of a woman in Buckinghamshire 20 years ago today have identified DNA which could belong to her killer. It's believed that Janet Brown disturbed an intruder at her home in Radney. Her daughter Roxanne has made a new appeal for information.
Our mum's murder was planned and brutal, and the horror of her death stays with us every day. She was attacked and killed in our family home, a place where we should all be safe. There is new DNA evidence which will help Thames Valley Police bring the killer to justice, but we need your help to find them. She was a kind and loving person, and her death broke our hearts.
The Conservatives say regulated rail fares will rise by no more than inflation until 2020 if they win power at the general election. Labour is pledging to guarantee neighbourhood policing across the country and will scrap police and crime commissioners to help fund that. Tributes are being paid to the Australian cricketer and commentator Richie Benaud, who's died at the age of 84. He'd been suffering from skin cancer. He worked on the BBC and then Channel 4 from 1963 to 2005. The Australian Prime Minister Tony Abbott has led the tributes.
Our nation has lost an icon. Richie Benaud has been the voice of cricket. There would be very few Australians who have not passed a summer in the company of Richie Benaud.
In sport, Watford striker Troy Deeney is the Championship Player of the Month for March. Wickham boss Gareth Ainsworth is the League 2 Manager of the Month. The weather, another warm day with plenty of sunshine, although hazy at times. A maximum temperature 21 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Just making an addendum to the old whiteboard. So far, the topics we're talking about today, and these will carry on till next week. Yes, the whiteboard requires more work, but in many ways it makes us lazier. It makes us lazier. So far today, do you get flat? And we've done this with men getting chatted up by gay men. Well, of course, women can also be gay. I read a pamphlet on it once. If you get chatted up by a gay person, are you flattered or offended? I don't see. And I'm adding the offended because when Justin took it to the street, some people would be offended, and I'm surprised by that. Someone says, "Oh, you're looking nice. Can I buy you a drink?" That's a nice thing, isn't it? Whether they're
Is that a chart line? I thought that was just...
Do you like the One Show? Men that sing like girls. How many best friends have you got? Kelly Betts reckons she's got loads. She hasn't. She doesn't know yet. She's not needed to call on her best friends. And couples' names that rhyme, please. We've got Barry and Gary, who got married, last year, it turns out. I've got people doing silly ones.
Don't just make them up. We want real ones.
My friend's sister, Donna, married Peter Bonner. Donna Bonner. I think that's how you pronounce that last name. I'm married to Carrie Cleaver and our surnames rhyme. Regards, David Cleaver. That's not a rhyme, that's the same name, for crying out loud.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Jay staggered on the texts. Interesting topic this morning. I had no idea Bazza Manilow was gay.
Oh, come on,
Jay.
guys, really?
Fair play to the legend for his honesty and he's content, but it's not a disease and won't end his day job. I was chatted up in a gay bar a couple of years ago. I simply showed him my wedding ring, but told him I was flattered.
Oh,
God, because no married men go in gay bars, do they?
Don't show them the wedding ring. That is a challenge. You're showing them a bullseye. That's a challenge.
I told him I was flattered and took the time to chat. He was a normal human being. Gosh, fancy that.
What?
Gay bars tend to be fantastic, relaxed, chill, fun, and no Vicky Pollards in sight. Definitely a good night out, but not in Luton, God forbid. Regards, Jay. I've heard there are some really good ones in Luton.
Last time I went to a gay bar was, it was a long time ago, and I was still drinking, and boy, oh boy, was I very, very drunk, and David Furnish was there, and I was voguing around David Furnish. And I was shouting something that I can't repeat on the radio, but they loved it. They loved it. And I loved it. And it was fun. How could anyone be offended by someone showing appreciation of your looks and thinking that you might be an interesting person to hang out with? You might be a sexy kind of guy or a sexy woman.
Well, you've usually had a wash before you've gone out. At least it's been appreciated.
As long as it's done in a respectful way, and that applies to anyone of any sexuality. All right, fancy, I want to give you one. Sometimes that works, I believe. Anything else before we crack on? Being quiet on the texts today.
Tony's back. He says, no such luck for me on the comps. No gay guy's going to compliment me on my dress. Have you seen the way I dress? I make a hobo look smart. It's a shame. Oh, Tony.
81333. Start your text 3CR. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Back in 2013, Luton Council and Beds Police told us they would get rid of all street prostitution within 5 years. 2 years on, people living in the town's red light district aren't convinced. In fact, they are furious that neither the police nor the council turned up to a meeting that they'd called to update residents. Hightown resident Wendy Walker joins me now. Morning, Wendy.
Hello.
What's the situation like there? Is it still as bad, worse or better?
In some parts of the area, there is an improvement with prostitution, though with the street lights being so dark now, you couldn't see if a giraffe was going past. We have lots of curb crawlers driving up and down Wenlock Street, nose to tail some nights. And
really? There's like rows of cars that are really close to each other cruising up and down?
You wouldn't believe it. And you see certain vehicles that you can identify, like maybe a red van or a silver van, yes. Going round 20 times. Dear.
Nose to tail.
Yes.
Gosh.
But I do believe in the Dudley Street area and on the New Bedford Road, there is still a lot of prostitution.
Are people still doing it up the chutes?
No, they have been locked, thank goodness.
Because that was one of the problems, wasn't it? The waste disposal chutes.
Yes.
People were doing it there, and some people had even had couples. Let's be polite and say making love by their front door.
On their front door.
On their front door.
As they opened the front door.
Oh dear.
They fell.
What a shock for everybody.
Exactly.
This meeting the other night, what happened?
Well, I wasn't there, and I did make it quite clear to your gentleman yesterday, but I did have a phone call from Shazad to say nobody has turned up, nobody from the council and nobody from the police, and he'd got quite a few people there waiting, and he was extremely disappointed.
Why didn't you go, Wendy?
It's a very mundane thing. I was waiting for a parcel.
Oh no! Did you have one of those windows? We'll be there between 1 and 8.
Yes.
Oh, aren't they a pain? But I suppose, Wendy, it could be argued that if someone like you, who we have spoken to, and you are very vocal against this, if someone like you is unable to attend the meeting, then does it indicate that residents have given up?
I think people are very, very angry. I speak to a lot of people round here. Some people are saying, well, we will see what transpires of this so-called help from the council. And, of course, with an election coming up, so I suppose, that'll be on the back burner a bit. But I think most people say we're just so sick and tired of going to the meetings, saying the same old, hearing the same old promises, and then nothing's done.
The police didn't turn up to the meeting. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I do have every sympathy with the police, and I do know the police lady concerned, and she has been very helpful. But really, I don't think I can comment on that because I wasn't there.
Yeah.
But, different people also have different opinions of the police. Some say when they ring in saying there's prostitutes and curb crawlers, they feel they don't get the reply they want to, But me being me, I do keep on at them,
Wendy, do you, we're 2 years into a 5-year plan. Do you believe that this is ever going to be solved, or have you just kind of resigned to the fact that this may be the way you've got to live?
No, I'll never resolve to that. As long as we've got a problem, and as long as I've got the strength, I will speak up and out about it, because I know the suffering of the people, and the way they feel about having to live in a designated red light area, and it isn't fun, and it's horrendous.
Wendy, good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for your time. Nice to talk to you as always, Wendy Walker. 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Now, weather, and I can say this because I know for a fact Elizabeth Rizzini isn't listening. Weather's really boring.
Dull.
It really is dull.
I mean, for most of us who've lived longer than maybe 12 years, right? If you say you live in England and it's April, you know what the weather's going to be like.
April showers.
So then let's change it. Live in England and it's August, you know what the weather's going to be like.
August showers.
Live in England and it's October, you know what the weather's going to be like.
October showers. So what weather people do is they try and make boring weather sexy. They try and sex it up a little bit.
There's a warm front bubbling up from Europe at the moment. It's affecting quality of the air.
Well, as we know, Justin's got a warm front bubbling up, but he's on antibiotics.
Yes.
Sorry, that was a bit below the belt, literally.
It's the genes, though. We did say, didn't we?
So listen to this nonsense. Britain is today bracing itself for.
I'm not bracing myself. No one's asked me.
Words that, again, I'm going to write a book. Words that are only used in the media. Bracing. Britain is today bracing itself for a cocktail of smog and blood rain. Blood rain. Blood rain. Blood rain. It sounds exciting.
What,
but
blood rain?
It's just sandy rain. Parts of the UK face soaring levels of air pollution. I like a bit of smog. I do like a bit. We don't get proper smog. Hey, ever been to LA or Beijing? That's proper smog, guys. When you look at LA and there's just a thick, not so much now, I mean, this is 10 years ago, thick, dark cloud over it. Beijing, 15 years ago, thick, dark cloud over it.
There are people who've been to neither of those places, but they were in the 60s.
Yeah, yeah.
They know what you're talking about.
Oh, I'd love to go through the Victorian fog, which was all it's all chimney smoke.
You mean a right pea super?
Yeah, it's a right pea super, madam.
And no mistake, strike a light.
Part of the UK face soaring levels of air pollution as dust mixes with brains. That will be freaky. With rain to produce drops capable of staining cars red and brown.
No one will notice on mine. I haven't cleaned it for ages.
Storms in the... Why do people clean cars?
No one puts them in the garage anymore.
Nah.
That's what rain's for.
I like having the inside... Thank you so much. I like having the inside cleaned of my car. I like that. Storms in the Sahara have whipped up sand into a fine dust, which is being carried more than 2,000 miles to Britain. Spain saw some of this blood rain, or mud rain. Yeah, that's what it is.
Or lluvia de sangre.
Sorry?
Lluvia de sangre.
Say that one more time.
Lluvia de sangre.
Isn't that what Justin's got wrong with him?
Oh, yeah. He's got lluvia de fuego.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There are delays on the M25 anti-clockwise because a lorry's overturned at the entry slip road at junction 18 for Chorleywood, so it means that the entry slip road is closed. In Park Royal on the North Circular Road, there are queues between the Hanger Lane gyratory from the Park Royal interchange, and that's because of a lane being blocked by some debris on the road. In Bletchley, Watling Street is still closed between Standing Way and Saxon Street because of an accident, and in Hatfield on the Great North Road, there's roadworks at the Bullstair Green, which could cause some delays. That's not looking too bad at the moment. On the trains, Virgin Trains West Coast have resumed a normal service again now between Milton Keynes Central and Rugby after a problem with a train earlier on. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much. 8:15, it's Friday the 10th of April. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Bedfordshire Police has apologised for not turning up to a meeting which they organised about the problem of prostitution in the Hightown area of Luton. 3 people, including 2 teenagers, were arrested by police in High Wycombe yesterday afternoon in the latest spate of car vandalism in the town, and tributes are being paid to cricket commentator Richie Benno, who's died at the age of 84.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Oh. Morning.
Good morning.
You surprised me.
I surprised you?
Yes.
Why?
Because you're... Oh, hang on a minute, let me do it again. Because you're...
In his pants.
No, because you came in and you're early, which is always great.
Mm.
I think that's the second time this year. And I'd lost track of the time. Do you know what? I'm actually enjoying myself this morning.
Are you?
I'm enjoying myself this morning.
Is this a rare occurrence for you to be enjoying yourself?
Very much so. This is community service, and I think I've got another 6 months, and then I'm done.
Right.
No, I of course I enjoy it, but today I'm thoroughly exhausted and shattered, and I'm a wreck. Jonathan, I'm a wreck.
Well, come on now, it's Friday.
Yes.
The sun's shining.
Yes.
It's going to be a beautiful day.
Great day to drive up the M1.
Well, exactly. You're going to be on the M1, are
Great day to Watford Gap, 20-minute nap. That's my plan for
Is that what you do? You drive to Watford Gap and have a sleep in the car?
20-minute nap, yeah.
Oh, that's...
Little doze. It is sad. Put the chair back. I try and time it so that I doze in your middle hour.
Right.
No. That sounds rude. It's not rude. Because then it means I can wake up about 11 and I get the consumer hour. I can still pick you up.
You won't want to miss my 11 o'clock hour today.
What have you got?
Did you hear I'm surprised you haven't mentioned this, actually. You obviously didn't hear it the other day because it's the kind of thing you would have commented on. The lady who sold the little boots, the designer boots.
No, I missed the boots.
On this well-known website.
eBay?
Yes.
Okay.
And a woman bought these boots. She sent them off, but then this woman said, I never received them. Oh. So PayPal gave her money back, took the money off the seller, and this seller was thinking, I'm sure she would have got them. So she went and found her Facebook page. And on her Facebook page, there's a picture of this woman's daughter wearing the designer boots. So I called her a skank. a grubby little skank on the radio, and she and I have got to know one another quite well since. In fact, I was tweeting her late last night in bed. And she's quite unhappy that I've called her a grubby little skank.
You do make me... I don't know what a skank is.
Well... I'm not going to give my dictionary definition because it might just make things worse.
Okay. Oh gosh, no, I'd missed that one.
Yeah, well, an update on that case
today
after 11 this morning.
I do. If the Consumer Hour from 11 o'clock, honestly, it is one of my favourite bits of radio.
Good.
Throughout the week, I love it. I love it. I love it. What have you got at 9?
Well, I'm hoping you'll love today because last week a live audience of JVS show listeners joined me and 5 of our local politicians to discuss the positive and negative effects of immigration on our local area. We heard from the Conservatives, Labour, UKIP, the Lib Dems and the Green Party. Well, this morning from 9, I will play you what happened. I want you to listen to the debate. It's quite feisty.
Yes,
I warn you.
I like feist.
Then from 10 this morning, I want your reaction. I want you to say, who do you think talked the most sense on immigration? The phone lines, of course, will be open on 08459 455 555, but it's my big immigration debate from 9 this morning.
I like that.
You like that?
I like your style.
Okay.
You get to put your feet up for an hour, don't you?
I will. No, I actually, do you know, genuinely, I'm looking forward to listening. Because you know what it's like when you're presenting something like that, you don't necessarily hear it as a listener.
Can you listen back to yourself?
Well, I will from 9. I should be sitting there listening.
I hate it.
Really?
Yeah.
Well...
Nick Coffer on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Every day it's not just about great music and great conversation.
I'll get a bit technical here.
It's about local experts helping you across beds, hearts and bucks.
So what we're talking about then is capital gains tax potentially on the portion of the property that they directly own.
On finance, relationships.
But look at the way that you have contributed to this situation.
Health.
When you have a cough, which can seem quite innocuous in this way, but just irritating, asthma is something that we would think of.
Your pets.
Particularly if your dog is a border collie cross, it will be epilepsy.
And even law.
You still cannot say, Judge, you have to stick to this. But the judge's approach now is going to be, well, why shouldn't we?
Local advice for local people.
Nick Coffer, weekdays from 12 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Here we go. Oh, hang on.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
David Crosby's at it again. Couples' names that rhyme. That was a thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Suzanne says, my grandma and granddad... Oh, these are proper grandma and granddad names. Bill and Lil.
Oh.
I had a granddad Bill, but Bill and Lil. Isn't that perfect?
I've got a grandma Lil.
There we go.
Although if you ever call her that, she will give you a karate chop to the windpipe.
Thank you, Suzanne. I love that. 08459 455 555. Now... So I didn't know people still did this. Messages in bottles. When I was a kid, it was always the thing to do.
But it was before the internet.
Yeah, you did put it in in a Sprite bottle. Well, no, when I was a kid, we didn't have screw caps. We had the pop cap, the metal caps.
Yes, we chucked one in the Channel on the French Exchange, and we got a reply.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, a message in a bottle intended for a woman who lives in Harlington in Bedfordshire, which I think is landlocked if I'm correct, was found washed up in the sea near Norway. The letter in a wine bottle was thrown into the sea in Scotland 2012. Well, remember that, the Olympics, victory, all those kind of things were going on. Well, 25-year-old Victoria Ward knew nothing about it. Morning, Victoria.
Hiya.
So tell me about this letter in a bottle. Who did it?
One of my friends who lives in Aberdeen sent it to me.
Why could you not be bothered? Could you not afford a stamp or something?
He just thought it'd be an interesting social experiment and about tidal movements to see if it would ever reach me.
Tidal movements. So an intellectual. So what did he? So he didn't tell you he'd done this?
No.
And what did he write in the note?
He said it was probably going to be years into the future when I read it, and he hopes I'm doing well. And if we have lost touch over the years, then I should look him up.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Isn't that nice? Catherine has suggested that maybe he fancies you, and this is a very reserved way of asking you out.
No, nothing like that. We're just really good friends.
So he chucked it out in 2012. He didn't tell you he was going to do it.
No.
How did you find out about it?
Well, the person who found it in Norway, they forwarded it on to me because my friends put my address on the envelope inside the bottle.
And were you so? Did it just? So the Norwegian. God, I travelled miles. I'm trying to work it out. The Norwegian posted it to you.
Yeah, the Norwegian girl who found it posted it to me.
You got the letter. You must have been very surprised.
Yeah, I was really confused because I don't know anyone in Norway, so I was like, "Who's writing to me from Norway?"
And you open it, and it's from your mate.
Yeah.
What happened when you spoke to him?
He was really surprised. He didn't think it would ever find me, so he was pleasantly surprised that it actually did.
Oh, mate, you've got to send a reply.
Yeah, I'm going to.
You're gonna do it. You're gonna go and send a reply.
Yeah, I'll see when it reaches him.
It's such a weird story, isn't it? It's I'm hoping, because this used to be the thing to do when I was a kid, messages in bottles. I'm hoping, Victoria, that your story encourages more people to do it. Not throw litter in the sea, but just to take a punt on it.
Yeah, it's a nice thing to do.
Victoria, listen, I appreciate your time. Thank you for sharing your story. It's Victoria Ward from Harlington. It's a long shot. Ever had a message in a bottle?
He fancies her. This is his way of chatting her up from the past.
From the past.
To say, I will still be thinking of you however many years' time.
Letters from the past. When some parents... going to sound morbid, stick with me, I know where I'm going. When some parents of young children know that they're going to die, they often stack up birthday cards and letters, and they send them on. So the kid might be 5 when dad dies, but they'll get birthday cards up until they're 18, and they'll get like letters of advice. Kelly's pulling the face of saying, "Oh, that's nice."
Oh, stop it!
I think that's freaky.
Well, that's hard.
And I would be writing. The thing is that what I would write to my boys is, "I'm watching you. Behave."
Do you know what would be really sad?
Yeah.
When you get to the last letter.
Yeah. And he says, "I'm behind you." They turn around and go, "Boom!"
Can I be practical about this?
Jokes.
What if one gets lost in the post?
One of the kids?
Doesn't love me anymore.
One of the kids?
No, one of the letters. Don't put it in the post.
What if one of the kids dies before?
Oh, stop it!
Oh no!
This is the sound. This is a phone-in for a late-night show. The saddest scenario you can think of.
Oh my god!
Don't, because it wouldn't take much for me at the moment.
I know, and that's unfair. Sorry, but I do think it's a strange thing to do. I think I would. I don't know if I could. You can. There's a service, isn't there, where you can email yourself. So you write like emails now, and then you put to be received in 2026. But I keep changing my email address, so there's no way it would get to me.
Why don't you do the letter in a box thing?
I don't know what that means, mate.
You write a letter to yourself.
Yeah, and put it in a box.
Put it in a box.
Why?
And then you hide it, and then you find it in years to come with a note on it saying, "Don't open until 2026."
I do a thing for my kids. If they're listening now, can whoever's in charge of them please turn the radio off?
They don't listen, mate. They listen to Heart.
They do listen.
Good radio.
They do listen.
Good radio. They keep listening because they think they might be on it again. They don't know how it works.
Right. Okay. You know Father Christmas?
She said you know Father Christmas.
You know Father Christmas?
Yeah, I know him.
He writes them a letter on Christmas Eve.
Don't say this on the radio.
He writes them a letter on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
I've arranged it.
Yeah.
And each letter is a little rundown of what they've done in the year and what he's noticed that they've done good. And so I'm keeping that as a little record of their lives. And they'll have it one day.
Why not take photos?
No,
that's a good record of their lives. Why not take photos or videos?
No, but it's little things that they've done that Father Christmas is proud of.
I grew up on the Britwell estate in Slough. I used to live at Monksfield Way, 120 Monksfield Way. I lived there until I was 11. There is a tarmacked drive on there. It's still there, I know, because I went past it a little while ago. My dad laid that tarmac drive. Some blokes turned up. They said they were they were building the M25. They were building the M25.
They had a bit left.
They had a bit left over. My dad went, "We're having that. We're having a drive."
That's not like your dad. Do something dodgy.
My dad built that drive. Underneath that drive, as you look at it, about 11 o'clock, top left-hand corner,
is an ancient British king.
No, there are 2 golden Virginia tins. And in those golden Virginia tins, it might be 1. I think there's 2. I think me and my sister did 1 each. In those golden Virginia tins are time capsules. And as far as I remember, in mine are 2 marbles, 3.5 pence, and a letter. I remember not what I wrote on that letter. One day, in the deepest, darkest night, I'm going to go there with a jackhammer. I'm going to destroy their drive, and I'm going to retrieve those buried treasures.
Because, man, you love marbles.
I need the money.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M25 anti-clockwise, the entry slip road at junction 18 for Chorleywood is closed because of an accident. And in Bricketwood on the North Orbit Road, that's looking very busy at the M25 junction 21A roundabout. In Bletchley, Watling Street is still closed in both directions between the A421 and Saxon Street by the Denby Industrial Estate. And on the trains, Virgin Trains West Coast are running to time again between Milton Keynes Central and Rugby after a problem with the train there earlier, and there are no other major delays showing up on the departure boards. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much indeed. I'm just seeing a message from Kelly Betts. That's a great story, mate. Thank you so much for sharing that with me. 08459 455 555. Last 30 minutes of the show. Well, it's pretty much over to you, really. These are some of the things what we are talking about. If you get chatted up by someone of the same sex, are you flattered or upset by it? Why would you be upset? It's someone saying, hey, you look nice. Men that sing like girls, and I tell you what, we can flip it. Girls what do sing like men. I'll give you Alison Moyet.
Yeah.
I'll give you Alison Moyet.
Tanita Tikaram.
Oh, there's a good tradition of love and hate. How many best friends have you got? And couples' names that rhyme. 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8:30. I'm Simon Oxley. Campaigners have defended the low turnout at a meeting about the problem of prostitution in the Hightown area of Luton. Bedfordshire Police has apologised for not turning up, and only 12 residents attended. 3 people, including 2 teenagers, were arrested by police in High Wycombe yesterday afternoon in the latest spate of car vandalism in the town, and tributes are being paid to the Australian cricketer and commentator Richie Benaud, who's died at the age of 84.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
World number 1 Rory McIlroy is 7 shots behind leader Jordan Spieth after the opening round of the Masters at Augusta. McIlroy hit a 1-under par 71, but American Spieth opened a 3-shot lead with an 8-under 64. Justin Rose is among those in joint second on 5-under.
That was really well played for me today. I didn't miss many shots out there, and I think that equals my lowest score at Augusta. So, perfect start really. But it was a nice start. Even from the first hole, I was in a good pairing today, or group, playing the defending champion. There was a nice atmosphere and buzz about the round, so that got things started nicely for me.
And Tiger Woods is 1 over after a 73, the same score as Woburn's Ian Poulter. Watford striker Troy Deeney is the Championship Player of the Month for March. Third place Watford travel to Millwall tomorrow. The Hornets are currently 1 point behind leaders Bournemouth, who are at Brighton tonight. Ahead of the League One trip to Port Vale, MK Dons manager Carl Robinson says they're hoping to sign on loan 19-goal striker Will Grigg on a permanent basis. Wycombe boss Gareth Ainsworth is the League 2 Manager of the Month for March. Third place Wanderers host bottom club Cheltenham tomorrow. In the race for playoff places, Stevenage are at home to Northampton. Manager Graham Westley says his side are improving all the time.
We've got until the playoff final to put ourselves in a position. We've got a must-win game. All the games leading up to that, I've been saying we've been winning points, and when we've been winning points, we've been winning something. Others have been losing games and getting no points.
And Luton are at home to leaders Burton. On-loan striker Elliot Lee could return. Cameron McGeehan's goal saw Luton return to winning ways on Monday. Manager John Still says they're on course to make his move from Norwich permanent.
He's one of the young, hungry, ambitious sort of players that we do want to bring here, and that was always the plan when I come. So when we identify them, can we do it? So I'm really positive about it. It's not done, but I'm really positive about it. Yeah.
And Lewis Hamilton was fastest in first practice for Sunday's Chinese Grand Prix. The Hertfordshire driver finished ahead of teammate Nico Rosberg and Ferrari's Sebastian Vettel. The Milton Keynes Red Bull cars were 6th and 7th. Second practice is coming to a close around now. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 9.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Simon. Girls.
How much of that did you just hear?
All of it, mate.
No, you didn't. What did I say then?
About the phone number.
What? Oh, no, that's fine.
Different thing.
Any texters?
Yes.
Well, it turns out people can hear me when I switch off all the microphones.
Yes, so be really careful.
How could you hear what I shouted when all of the microphones are switched off?
Well, whoever sent this text through has told us exactly what you said.
How did you hear that? Anyway,
It's
that's
very
what I shouted.
quiet,
And they
but
loved it.
anyway, they thought it was funny.
Good. Any Texas?
Helen in Milton Keynes. Blood
Yes,
rain.
morning, Helen.
Blood rain. Is that Mordor again? I know, isn't it frightening?
Yeah.
Tony said, if I were to turn gay for anyone, it would have been Freddie Mercury. Gosh, you give me some thought. My
Nah,
wife
Freddie,
would have
the moustache.
You've got to, yeah.
It would have been, for me, it was Duncan Bannatyne for a long time. Jose Mourinho, is that his name?
Mourinho?
Jose Mourinho. See, I've gone off him. Who's my current gay choice? I saw someone rather dashing the other day on the television. Doesn't matter, it'll come to me.
Well, forget Barry Manilow. He's not available anymore.
Well, okay. Manilow was never never Manilow.
Really?
No. I like his music. I think he's a brilliant songwriter, but no, not for that.
Doesn't do it for you.
No,
Anyway,
it's not tickling my ivories.
Tony said Freddie Mercury because his wife would be happy with that. She loves him too. I don't think she's involved in this, Tony. I think it would be just you two.
Oh no, I think Freddie.
Oh yeah, actually.
Yeah, I think everyone could have got involved in that scene.
And Mark said...
Morning, Mark!
As a youth, it was always great to be complimented by anyone. If I see someone who looks great, I will always tell them, much to my daughter's consternation if we happen to be in a supermarket queue. However, if someone's mortally offended by receiving a compliment or being chatted up from someone of a different persuasion, what will they do to stop it happening again, says Mark.
I haven't had the eye from a gentleman for such a long time. Probably about 5 years.
Well, you will now. You've got a nice beard.
Yeah.
I think you look rather good at the moment.
David's in Hitchin. Good morning, David.
Hi there.
Hi, you're David. David, I have to reach over to my bag, David, to get the you've got a sheet of paper that lives in my bag.
Right.
And it says, David is a fruitcake. Oh no, it doesn't. It's got the list of your cats on.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to play cat bingo with you, David. I'm going to say some. Yeah, I'm going to say some of your cat names, and I'm going to say some random names. You have to spot what is not your cat name, and you say, "That ain't no cat man." Okay.
Hey, I've been cat man for 10 years since Joe the Crescent gave me the name.
Who gave you the name? David Essex.
Joe.
Okay. So you've got to say, "That ain't no cat man." Okay.
Uh-huh.
Frankie. Rainbow.
Right.
Bagpuss.
Right.
Little Winkle.
That ain't no cat man.
1 point. Rover.
Uh-huh.
Bum Bum.
No, that ain't no cat.
Okay, well, okay. You've got to get the full saying. This is the last round, okay?
Uh-huh.
Sergeant.
Yep.
Rob Roy.
Yep.
Peroni.
Who the hell? That ain't no cat man.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's 3 out of 3, David. Well done. Well done indeed. What you got for us, Dave?
I got a song.
Hey, this is beautiful. What are you going to sing it?
I would like to do it without you titling it because I want to put a big smile on your face in that first 3 seconds of hearing it.
You want to put a big what on my face? Pile?
A big smile.
Okay. You need to stand still because we're losing your line a little bit. Just tell us what you have for breakfast so we can make sure we can hear you.
I haven't had a breakfast as it turns out. I've been up since 2 a.m.
Since when?
Pardon?
Don't move from that spot, David. I'm looking forward to having a big pile on my face in 3 seconds. Away you go.
Okay. I know a girl, real nice girl, down near Wroxham Way. Molly Windley, she smokes like a chimney, but she's my little nicotine gal. Now doctor tells me a daddy I will be. So when I asked him what's the score, he says it's only 3. 3. So here I go, cheerio, see how she do fare. I know what she will say to me soon as I get there. Hey, you got a light, boy? Hey, you got a light? Molly Windley, she smokes like a chimney, but she's my little nicotine gal.
David, it's always a pleasure. Speak to you next week. Ta-ta.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, mate. Bye-bye. There we go. You see? And it's as simple as that, dear listener. It's as simple as that. You want to come on and you want to sing a song, then you can. Dreams can come true here at BBC Three Counties Radio. Not that Australian lad's dreams, though. We cannot promise Dale Winton in ripped jeans, topless. I think he said wearing suspenders, which in Australia, I guess, is braces.
It's practical if you're going to be doing some heavy lifting.
Yeah, rescues him in various scenarios in his dreams. The one he recounted was a burning building. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number. We're going to speak. Have we got Dealey now, or do you want to? Is he there?
Come in.
Is he on his way? The reason we're doing this is we're talking about best friends.
Yeah.
And I can't remember why we started with that. It doesn't really matter. In the nature of...
because 26-year-olds have the most friends.
That was it. We were having a little bit of banter. Young chums.
No, you know who your friends are by the time you're 26.
Okay, well... and I've got 3 best friends. I've got colleagues, I've got friends, I've got people that I know, I've got 300 phone numbers in my phone. I've got 3 best friends.
Mm-hmm.
How many best friends you got, Catherine Boyle?
Probably about the same.
Okay. Kelly Betts, how many best friends you got?
At least 6.
You now exactly.
You think you have?
You've already
Yeah, I have.
tempered it down from before. You were saying loads.
Yeah, at least 6.
So okay, well, so let's get the bracket. 6 is the minimum. Les maximum.
I've got loads. I've got lots.
20,
of
20 best friends.
But you have different level of friends, right? You've got good time friends, and you've got the ones that you can tell something awful and they won't leave you.
Yeah, I've got at least 6 of those.
Okay, and what's the maximum?
15.
15 best friends.
Gosh.
I'm thinly spread, I'll be honest.
You're really not choosy, is what I'm thinking.
I don't think you can have... You can't have that many best friends. You can have friends.
Why can't I?
Well, Justin, tell her why. How many best friends you got, Just?
I've probably
best
got...
friends.
Okay, best friends, I would probably say 2. 2 best friends.
Perfect. Tell her why she can't have more than...
Wait, hang on. I speak to my best friends every day. I know exactly who they are and why they're my best friends.
It's too much,
if
mate.
you don't
Too
get
much.
it doesn't matter.
I'm going to shock you now. I don't think I had a best friend till I was about 20.
I'm not shocked.
So 30 years ago.
No, but only because I had lots of good time friends, but I don't think I ever really worked out.
Good time, Kath.
Good time friends.
No, but you know, if you're the entertainer, laid-back entertainer of the group,
entertainer.
They used to call her Boy Boyle.
if you're that person, you know.
I just realised that sounds quite rude.
Can I butt in here? What happened to the girls from WoW? You had a great connection. You made some great songs. What happened
your
to them?
theory is, Justin, that your best friends are your school friends, which is absolute nonsense.
No, absolutely.
The girls from wow, we all grew up.
The world girls from Growl.
The thing is, you know who they are. You know their background. You've shared so much together.
But
That's a true friend.
I wouldn't tell them loads of stuff now. They're really nice girls and everything, and we could go for a laugh and a drink and everything. But they don't know the intimacies of my life, and I don't know theirs.
Steve, how many best friends have you got, Steve?
1.
1. You see, Kelly Betts reckons she's got up to 15.
Yeah, not possible. I was just explaining to Kelly how you tell how many best friends you've got.
Go on, fella, let's do the best friend test.
Very, very simple. You decided you've murdered someone, and you can't move the body on your own, and you need to know how many of your friends would actually help you
This is good.
dispose of that body without telling the police.
Right, in that case, thank you, Steve.
No questions asked.
In that case, I've got 2 best friends.
Well, in that case, I probably got about 50.
All in.
Kels, how many of your friends would help you hide a murdered body?
Yeah, 6.
Or maybe 15.
6.
Steve, that's a brilliant test, Steve. I hope you never had to put it into practice. We years ago when I did
Here's a tip: if you don't want to put it into practice, don't do any murdering.
We did this thing for the 11 o'clock show years ago. We went to Paris and Brussels and filmed loads of these vox pops on the street. You like this, Justin? One of them we did. We never got allowed to show them in the end because we showed someone who said they didn't want to be shown, and we got in terrible trouble for it, rightfully so. One of them was me. I could never do this now. Was me covered in blood.
Oh gosh.
Holding a knife, going up to French and Belgian people saying, excuse me, I've just murdered somebody. The police are after me. Could you tell me the best place to hide? Now, a lot of them would just walk on, looking frightened. A lot of them would tell you to jog on. Yeah. But some people go, well, there is a motorist storage car park over there. Maybe if you go and hide in the basement in there might be... the police might not come looking for you. Imagine doing that now.
See, this is why, to be fair, boss, I mean, we're not best friends, we're colleagues, but, I
would say we're enemies.
Okay, enemies.
Deadly enemies.
Call it what you want, but you see, I grew up watching this stuff. I grew up watching you do this stuff, and you had, big ones.
I did. I couldn't do it now. Anyway, Justin, what exactly did you take to the street with this?
Well, I've been asking people on the streets this morning, forget Kelly Betts' story, 15 best friends, get out of here. Get out of here. I've been asking people on the streets this morning, how many best friends have you got? But also, the connection, the background to that best friend.
Stories.
Yeah, stories. So, some interesting ones here. Take a listen. Madam, very quick question for you. We're talking this morning about best friends. Very personal. How many best friends have you got?
2, I'd say. I have 3 very, very close friends, but 2 absolute lifelong best friends.
Just lastly, where did you meet them?
At gigs, I think. We shared a love for the same kind of music.
Wow, you met your two best friends randomly at gigs?
Yeah.
How many best friends have you got?
Oh, a couple.
So these friends you've got, you say two best friends, are they from your school days? Tell me more about these friends.
Well, is this identity theft in the disguise of a radio interview?
No, this is genuine. We're talking about it this morning. I'm saying that my best friends come from my school days.
Mine don't. Mine don't come from school days.
Where do they come from?
Employment, like my first job.
OK, what about your school friends then? Do you not keep in contact with any of them?
No, they were scum.
How many best friends have you got?
One real good friend. One real good friend, as I would class my very, very best friend. Yeah.
And is that a lady or a man?
It's a lady.
And the background, was it school friends or?
No. We met when our children were little, and we've just been friends ever since. And our kids have grown up together. I'm godmother to one of her daughters, and we see each other all the time. So yeah. So we confined with one another. So we're best mates.
Wow. So the connection was having the baby, and of course at that time you were sharing your lives pretty much parallel, weren't you?
Yep, exactly. And that's like how many years now? 29 years. 29 years now. Yeah, that we've been sort of best mates. We know too much about each other not to be. That's what we say. All our secrets.
Cracking stuff. Madam, lovely to meet you. Have a good weekend.
And you. Bye-bye.
John, how many best friends have you got?
About three.
Three,
yeah.
And what's their background? I'm getting personal, getting deep.
Background? What do you mean?
School friends or?
Yes, school friends. Yeah. 20 years, yes. Back in the day, yeah, school friends.
Because I've been saying this morning that I think your best friends have got to be school friends, because when you go down the pub together, you can talk about things that happen, trips away. They're the best friends to have, aren't they?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you know who they are and what you're getting with them, really, truly.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M25 anti-clockwise, there are delays because a lorry's overturned at junction 18 for Chorleywood, which means the entry slip road's closed. In Watford on Exchange Road, that's looking very busy near Beach and Grove. And in Bletchley on Watling Street, that's still closed between Standing Way and Saxon Street because of an accident by the Denby Industrial Estate, and the old A5 there is closed as well. On the train departure boards, the 9 o'clock service from Milton Keynes Central to London Euston is delayed. Samantha Brough, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sammy, thank you very much. I have to say it out loud, Justin Dealey has been on, and it really pains me to do it. Not as much as it pains him to have a wee, but Justin Dealey has been on fire this week. Again, I'm talking about him weeing, but hasn't he been on top form this week? I'm starting it. I'm hoping it got picked up. Woo! It got picked up. A spontaneous round of applause. He's been brilliant this week, hasn't he? Especially after I listened to the other breakfast show yesterday, and their reporter, oh dear goodness me. 8:46, it's Friday, the 10th of April. I'm Iain Lee. These are Iain. I've seen the bloke that presents it, Kelly. Flipping it. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Campaigners have defended the low turnout at a meeting about the problem of prostitution in the Hightown area of Luton. Police have arrested 3 more people for attacking cars in High Wycombe. And tributes are being paid to cricket commentator Richie Benaud, who's died at the age of 84. 08459 455 555. Your last chance to get on the show this week. Call now, and maybe we'll speak after the weather with Elizabeth.
Beds, hearts and bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. Lots of hazy sunshine around. We could be in for the warmest day of the year so far, with temperatures perhaps peaking at 21 or even 22 degrees Celsius. Sunshine's a bit hazy because there will be a lot of high cloud coming and going through the course of the day, but feeling very warm through the afternoon. We've got a fairly light to moderate southerly breeze picking up through the day. It's also bringing up some rather polluted air from the near continent, so the air quality levels aren't great today. In fact, they're pretty bad. So do be careful if you have got respiratory diseases or anything like that. I'm sure you know about it.
Respiratory diseases? You're giving medical advice now, Elizabeth. I don't think we're allowed to do that.
I'm trying not to. I'm trying to steer away from medical advice.
There's blood rain nonsense. Well, come on, stop trying to make the weather sound set. It's dirty rain. It's going to be dirty rain.
Dust rain. I mean, it's not. I have to say, Ian, it's not actually that unusual for this time. Well, for this time of year, when we get a high pressure situation with light winds and or winds from the south, then we often get stuff like this. Hey, so it's not that unusual.
I'm camping in the back garden tomorrow night with the boys. To say the boys, not having a few tinnies.
You camp.
Well, is it going to be nice?
Well, no, it's going to rain.
Tomorrow night it's going to rain, is it?
Well, tonight's going to rain.
I'm asking.
Tomorrow morning.
Catherine,
Tomorrow
please.
morning.
Please,
there will be a
Catherine,
little
talk
bit
to
of rain.
Elizabeth. Talk to Elizabeth. And
What seems to be the problem?
she's annoying me.
What's the matter?
I want to know if it's going to rain tomorrow night.
Is it going to rain tomorrow
night? As in Saturday night? Mm-hmm. No, it won't. No,
Thank
it'll
you.
be quiet, but it'll be cooler.
What are you planning to do outdoors?
I'm
camping.
camping outside with the boys.
It's a good idea.
Going to have a few tinnies. They're only 5 and 3.
You'll have a few tinnies.
Well, we're going to have a campfire. We're going to roast
We'll
the
wrap
youngest.
the boys up nice and warm, please, because it will be quite cold and Saturday
Now you're
night.
giving medical advice again, Elizabeth. You're not allowed to do it.
Gosh.
Are you done?
Yeah, I think so.
Have a nice weekend. Ta-ta,
definitely.
Elizabeth. Bye-bye.
Sometimes in life, things don't always go to plan.
It worked perfectly for 2.5, 3 years till 2 days ago.
He should refund me £1,900.
Which is where we come in.
We managed to get them to agree to come back in to the property on an agreed date.
The JVS show takes on your consumer problems
I've basically lost the whole lot in administration charges.
and helps to get to the right solution.
I've received a cheque back for £578.
Jonathan, I can't thank you enough. I don't know how you do what you do, you and your team.
The JVS show, weekdays from 9, here on BBC Three Counties Radio.
They make stern phone calls. That's how they do it. They make very stern phone calls and don't take no for an answer.
They add a bit of tech to their voices.
Yeah, they do.
Tech.
They do. Listen, you don't. And I've had these phone calls from Jonathan. You don't want a phone call from an angry, tired Jonathan Vernon Smith. I've had angry, tired, and drunk. He tends not to phone up when he's phoning up car dealers and people who've stolen shoes and things like that. He tends not to be drunk. Tends. But towards the end of the week, you can't always guarantee that. But the angry and tired JVS on the telephone. Oi.
Oh dear.
Hey.
Oh. So just do right by your consumers.
Exactly. That's the thing. We got any texters?
Yeah, probably.
Go on, what we got?
Probably. I'm saying probably.
You're not good at open, have you, mate?
But
You're
it's
not
open,
open for
it's
business.
open.
Is the tech shop open for business? Because I'd like to buy a handful of techs.
The tech shop is wide open for business.
That's the rumour.
And it contains Hot David from Hitchin.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he's hot.
Okay, I've got my own narrative going on inside my head.
When I was 18, says Hot David of Hitchin.
Hi, Hot David.
My friend came out. I went clubbing with him to GAY.
Oh, right, I get it, yeah.
Those unfamiliar with the gay scene won't know what GAY stands for.
Gay.
It's a club. It's a disco.
Stands for gay.
It's a disco where Kylie Minogue likes to hang out. As he had no one else to go with, and I thought I'd provide him some support. He was a bit narked by the end of the night because I was getting plenty of attention and he wasn't. Hot David.
I think there is. We communicate. Just bear with me. We communicate on so many different levels, and I think that there is an intrinsic vibration communication that we have that connects us all. Okay, we communicate via vibrations. Okay, and I think that often gay people pick up on the in inverted commas heterosexual vibe, and they are attracted to that. There is the sense of the challenge. I've had some people say, "Oh, I like the challenge of it." We like what we can't have, don't we? That's often the theme. We like what we can't have, and I think that just as a lot of people have what is called a gaydar, I think a lot of gay men have a straight dar.
I just think some people are just really sexy.
Thanks, Catherine. I've told you, please.
And they don't know that they're beaming it out there.
Yeah, I have
Until
to.
someone tells
I have to switch mine to stun. If I go on to kill, wow. Honestly, it gets very, very dangerous out there. Well, that's the end of the show, guys.
I've been accused of chatting people up before when I haven't, because I tend to look at people's mouths when they're talking.
Well, you know that I can't hear anything if there's a hubbub.
What?
That's actually offensive, because I am actually deaf.
What?
Thunderbirds were go at I hate Thunderbirds. Everyone's gone on about this this new Thunderbird. I couldn't give a stuff. Oh, it looks like a boy band. So what? Don't watch it. The first one was rubbish. This one will be rubbish. I hate those Jerry Anderson puppet things. I like Space 1999 because I like the woman in it. I like Martin Landau and I like the woman with the eyes. I think they were married in real life.
She had eyes.
Yeah. Oh, she had beautiful. I thought I'm going to... What was her name? The woman in Space 1999.
Google it. Space 1999.
Well, she was
eyes.
Googled.
Oh.
Space 1999 woman.
With eyes.
Not the Chinese lady, not that lady, not the lady with the black hair.
The one with the eyes.
Where is she? Where is she? She was married... Oh, gosh. Barbara Bain. Barbara Bain of my life. What a woman.
You like a woman with eyes?
I do. Anyway, I like that. I didn't like any of the other Jerry Anderson stuff. Rubbish. Joe 90, rubbish. Stingray, rubbish. Thunderbirds, rubbish.
Do you know what my mum used to think FAB stood for?
I don't know if I want to know.
Thunderbirds, Arbo.
Thunderbirds. I like Terrorhawks, actually. Thought Terrorhawks was quite good.
It was good. What was the Zelda? She had a kid that used to go, and the teeth were all hanging out.
Oh, OK.
I still think of her often when I see bad dentistry.
Is Windsor Davies still alive? Or is he dead?
I'm going to say yes, but I bet he's not.
I'm going to say yes.
Shall I look it up?
Thunderbirds were go at a funeral when mourners were asked to wear outfits from the much-loved show. Hang on a minute, let me bring John into the conversation. Morning, John!
Morning, Ian. How are you, mate?
I'm fine, mate. You sound a little bit angry. What's wrong?
Well, I saw it at the weekend, right?
The new Thunderbirds?
Yeah, I saw it at the weekend, and it's sort of... one thing is, Lady Penelope wasn't smoking, was she? Because I think in the original one, Lady Penelope's got a long cigarette holder.
Yeah.
She always had a fag on, yes.
She always had a fag on. I think it's unacceptably politically incorrect now to be smoking.
Oh.
And she had that little lapdog to replace the cigarette, didn't she?
You know what it is? It's
I think it's just gone politically correct.
Yeah.
It has, yeah.
And I think also, you know, like the cockpits of the original Thunderbirds.
You sound like you know a little bit too much about Thunderbirds, John.
I know a little bit too much, more than the average Thunderbird.
More than the average puppet.
Yeah. But I thought Lady Penelope was hot. The new Lady Penelope was hot.
Okay.
So that is quite sad. But the thing is, what I didn't find particularly great was the interiors for the original Thunderbirds.
Not as well as you do, John. No.
No, they had like these Bakelite knobs, all the controls and all the chrome levers, like a really 60s sort of interior.
Yeah.
And it sort of missed all that, didn't it? It went all really modern and like 3D holograms of Parker and that, you know, in the...
Is Parker... It's the same person playing Parker, isn't it, as the original Parker?
I think it is, but I think isn't the new... yeah, it is, you're right.
Yeah, it's the same fella playing Parker, because I saw an interview with him. I didn't read it because it looked boring.
He talks like that in real life, doesn't he? He's not doing a voice.
The same fella, and I tell you what, how acute my my senses of observation are. Also,
you're very acute.
You know, like that underwater lad that they were trying to lift out of the water.
No, because I've not seen it.
Right, and the front of that looked like the front of an Eagle transporter from Space 99. It looked like Jerry Anderson, and actually nicked it off the Space 99 Eagle and stuck it on the front of this thing.
John, and what did your wife think about this?
No, I'm not married, Ian.
John, thank you very much for calling. Thank you very much for calling. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number.
If anyone's interested in John.
Thank you, John. I appreciate. I've been a little bit cruel to the callers today, and I appreciate all of them. Thank you very much indeed. The request for people to dress as Virgil Tracy and his This is why we don't get any calls, because I'm always rude to people.
No, you're not.
I hope you took it in the spirit.
You gave him a gentle tickle.
The request for people to dress as Virgil Tracy and his family was one of several strange demands to be made by planners by the about-to-be nearly departed.
Oh, dear.
Another service... Oh, now I like this. Another service was carried out entirely in song. I like that. I'd like my eulogy... my oogly, as they call it in Zoolander, to be rapped. Well, we all know Iain was a really cool guy, and it's such a shame that he had to die.
Choose one of your three best friends very carefully. Because not everyone's a performer.
He was doing so well, but he ran out of luck, and everybody says, people would be crying with laughter at the power of rap.
Who do you want to rap?
Oh, Jay-Z. Oh,
Yeah?
I'd love it to be Jay-Z.
What if he's not available?
Oh, in that case, Biggie or Tupac.
They're already gone.
What about Eminem or Slim Shady?
I don't want the plastic. I don't want plastic wrap of Vanilla Ice.
Snow.
No, I like my mum to do it. I'd like my mum to rap. I'd like you to rap.
Oh, I don't rap anymore. My wow days are over.
If you want my inheritance, you'll rap and you'll sleep in a haunted house for a night.
All right.
Another service was carried out entirely in song. My service will be carried out entirely rap. And an elderly woman had a waving satin glove to gesture goodbye to mourners as her coffin disappeared.
That's hilarious.
Stop it.
A Simon Cowell fan? How can anyone be a fan of him? You could like him and you can watch his a fan?
He's got one, hasn't he?
A
Himself.
Simon Cowell fan was buried with a framed photo of the X Factor judge. Oh, this is quite common. We've done this, haven't we, on the show? One man had his ashes put into fireworks.
Yeah.
I want my funeral traditional, black clothes, a black armband, a black tie, and I want everybody sobbing like a baby. I'm being carried in to Daydream Believer, and I'm being played out to Let Me Entertain You by Robbie Williams.
But what point do you want the rap?
I want. No, actually, I don't want Catherine to do it because she'll use it as a chance to buck up her career, and she'll have a wow reunion, and then she'll be selling the song on iTunes straight after the funeral.
I don't need to sell that song. It's selling itself. Do you want some good news?
Go on.
Windsor Davis, still with us.
Get in there, Windsor! Ooh, lovely boy.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There are delays on the M25 anti-clockwise because the entry slip road's been closed by an overturned lorry at junction 18 for Chorleywood. In Watford on Exchange Road, it's really busy at the moment at Beech and Grove. And in Bletchley on Watling Street, there's been an accident earlier on between Standing Way and Saxon Street, which means it's closed still in both directions. In Marlow on the A404 northbound, it's very slow between the Marlow Junction and Wickham Road. And looking at the train departure boards from Milton Keynes Central, there are some delays. So the 919 train to Crewe and the 925 train to Birmingham New Street are both delayed. Samantha Brough, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sammy, thank you. I just hope and I pray that we've not tainted Windsor Davis with the curse of this show. Regular listeners will know what we're talking about. I won't go into any more detail, but let's just keep our fingers crossed. Hey, listen, everybody, excellent stuff this week. Kelly, wonderful. Justin Dealio, I mean, I don't know what you're on, but take more of it. Catherine, we need to have a word. Yes, just one word. Fired. The podcast will be up later on. Stick around, JVS up next. Until Monday, from us, ta-ta.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Ian. Good morning. Welcome to the JVS show. I'm Jonathan Vernon Smith. It's Friday. It's 9 o'clock. Now, last week, a live audience of JVS show listeners joined me and 5 of our local politicians to discuss the positive and negative effects of immigration on our local area. We heard from the Conservatives, from Labour, UKIP, the Lib Dems and the Green Party. Well, in just a second, I'll play you what happened. Listen to the debate. And from 10 this morning, I want your calls. Who do you think talked the most sense on immigration? Phone lines will be open on 08459 455 555.
This is the JVS show
on BBC Three Counties Radio.
First, though, let's get the latest BBC News at 9 o'clock. Here's Simon Oxley.
The headlines: Luton residents defend low turnout to discuss prostitution, more arrests for attacking cars in Wickham, and fresh appeal in Buckinghamshire murder case.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Campaigners have defended the low turnout at a meeting about the problem of prostitution in the Hightown area of Luton. Bedfordshire Police has apologised for not turning up, and only 12 residents attended, but Shazad Kadam from Hightown Against Prostitution told BBC Three Counties the public turnout was understandable.
When they have been in previous meetings and the partners and the police have made promises for the last 25 years, these people are, they're just fed up with hearing the same promises.
So they've given up.
Well, that could be, that could be reason. They have given up, and you know what? I don't blame them.
Police have arrested 3 more people for attacking cars in High Wycombe. Officers were called to Arundel Road yesterday afternoon to reports of a car on fire and several other vehicles being damaged. 3 males aged 22, 19 and 17 were arrested. A £1,000 reward has been offered following several weeks of vandalism thought to be linked to the inquest verdict on local man Habib Ullah. A man is due to appear in court today, charged with trying to arrange a contract killing. Police say the alleged intended victim lives in Bedfordshire. More from Lee Agnew.
48-year-old Paul Matthews, of no fixed address, was arrested by detectives in Norfolk on Wednesday. Matthews, also known as Paul Vass, has been